Round 4 in Finland saw the World RX drivers face some of the worst conditions in recent history. With 3 rounds in a row, nobody wanted to make a mistake, and Timmy Hansen blinked first. Despite everybody thinking it was impossible, Peugeot Hansen performed a miracle, and the car was out for heat 4.
It was crazy. With the first interview I did after the crash, I said that we won't even make it to Holjes. And the car comes in and I see this spark in the mechanic's eyes that it's possible.
Despite the team's hard work, their luck just refused to change. Timo Timozianov pulled out with a puncture and Timmy Hansen went off in the very same place. That, though, was nothing compared to semi-final 2.
From the start, you know, it was so muddy and I got it on the radio, keep right, keep right. And then, of course, I couldn't go to the right because it was one of the other cars there. So I just braked very hard and I went straight into the run. And obviously I didn't have any throttle then because the intercooler was pushed completely into the engine. So I was quite lucky. Then we went to the start line and then I tried to push out the intercooler and the fan. And the throttle was broken a little bit. But at the same time, you know, we fixed it. I didn't have any response or any boost or nothing, but still, you know, I could drive and get that 3rd place.
While Petter had made it to the final, the clock was running on the reprep and he didn't make it to the grid in time. The race continued without him and Tanner Faust got away first. He was the only man with a clean car and a clean run to victory. Reinis Nittich and Andreas Backerud, a clever drive between the two teammates meant no contact and great points. But for the 2nd year in a row, Tanner Faust took an impressive victory in Finland.
Wow, what a mess. I mean, it's just the mud was so slippery and slimy that there was nothing you could do, and I knew I had to get the start. I knew that if I was behind anybody, I would have to literally pull over and stop.
Reinis Nittich then extends his championship lead now from Backerud, Solberg and Heikkinen. Ford Olsberg's MSE as well with a big lead ahead of VW Markland and Peugeot Hansen. Round 5 sees us move to Sweden, the 3rd and final Scandinavian event, with just Belgium to go before the cars make their way across the Atlantic. Holjes is the festival event of the rallycross season, with 30,000 fans descending on a beautiful Swedish forest circuit. Coming up, we've got the best from Supercars Heats 1 and 2, Supercar Heat 3. We feature the women of Rallycross RX, Supercar Heat 4, the live Supercar semi-finals, the RX Lights final, and of course the big one, the Supercar final. Here's a look at the Holjes venue with our track preview presented by Ion Cameras. Away from the start, it's a crest right-hander and then a split for the Joker. The standard lap over a jump, a left and a tricky right, and then a long hairpin left, the velodrome banked corner. 6th gear downhill on gravel to the left, and then a very fast right and an enormous jump before a very long hairpin brings you back to the start-finish. Stunning sunshine and a massive crowd saw the action at Holjes get underway, with current European champion Timo Timozianov and Matthias Ekström having a great fight and setting impressive times in the process. Sebastian Eriksson ended up crossing the gravel at turn 1 in his World RX debut, but despite the carnage, he came out best and took the race win. Anton Markland wasn't so lucky. This enormous crowd-pleasing jump broke his transmission and his suspension, while Walfridson used the same jump to great effect with an airborne overtaking manoeuvre. No one could get close to Petter Solberg though. His early race saw him 1.3 seconds clear of everyone else in Heat 1. Heat 2 saw more first corner contact in several races. Ramona Carlson took a popular win after a multiple car off in her outing. And Larsen was the loser, Alexander Wahl the beneficiary in their race. Wahl taking the win in his very second-hand looking DS3. The huge Holjes jump saw more inventive overtaking. Pontus Tiedemann recovered from a dreadful start to pass Genet in the air for a win, with Sebastian Eriksson doing the same to Tommy Rustad. Tord Linnerud led his heat race until the final corner when his car let him down, and Petter Solberg looked likely to take a second heat victory until a mechanical failure dropped him off the pace of eventual Heat 2 winner Timo Timozianov. The Heat 2 win sees Timo Timozianov top the standings overnight, Matthias Ekström and Petter Solberg making up the top 3. Down at the line of death, Liam Doran is in 12th, Andreas Backerud is just outside in 13th.
the last race, last heat, second one, I have a great start. I think so. I have clean run. In the end, we are finished first, and now we are leading. And after day one, I hope it will be tomorrow the same after the final.
Matthias Ekström, you are second overall after heats 1 and 2 here at Holjes. How's the day been?
Yeah, I had a pretty great day, I have to say. Start in heat 1 with Timur was good, so I was behind him for a while, could pass him, and then Petter was a bit quicker, but P2 was really good. In the second heat I had a run with the good guys and a little bit more wheel spin at the start, so Petter were in front and Timur, and then Petter got a puncture and held me up a little, so the time was good enough for third, which is okay. So we are happy to be running at the front. Being second at the intermediate after day one is a great achievement. But I have to say I'm also very proud of Pontus because he had so many problems on his car. I mean, Pontus is the poor guy because he does nothing wrong. It's just something we can't control of the engines, which is happening. And he drove an awesome heat too, so he is fifth and will drive with me tomorrow. So we are very, very happy in general about our performance.
Ramona Karlsson, fantastic race win today in Heat 2 and in front of 40,000 people on your home track, and most of them probably Swedish. How did that feel?
Yeah, it was incredible to win in front of the home audience and all my friends and family and sponsors. It was a really magic moment.
What's it like going against all the guys in this?
It's really fun. It's very learning. I learn a lot for every heat I drive actually, and my development is moving further. I still have some time to catch, but it's the progress is moving in the right direction, and I hope to continue that.
What do you like best about the track here at Holjes?
I like it's fast, and I like it's a bit up and down, and yeah, I really like the character. And this is the first track this year that doesn't have the joker lap in the first corners. It has been quite many moments in the first corner.
Does it suit the Saab well? Because your teammate Henning also had a race win today.
Yeah, he had. Yeah. I think the Saab is quite good built, good car, and it can stand quite a lot of crashes. Apparently.
Andreas, you really seem to tackle everything with this big smile. You are just outside the top 12 after heat 1 and 2. How's the day been?
I think, we didn't have the speed in the first heat, but in the second heat we really was there. We had the pace, but unlucky, got a puncture, but that's a part of the game. I mean, rallycross is rallycross. It's door-to-door racing. I was cutting a curb too much and hitting some other cars out there, and it's a part of the game. And I need to be strong mental and come back tomorrow with a even better pace. And maybe you see me in the top in the first semi-final. I don't know.
The sun was still shining as Heat 3 got underway on Sunday morning. Race 2 saw Jacques Villeneuve, who struggled yesterday with a puncture after contacting his race, get a great start, disappear off into the distance. Havjorg had some smoke from his car after contact, and Walfridsson and Larsson came together, resulting in a spin for Walfridsson. A great job by Villeneuve. Davy Genet, who's in for Monster Energy World RX, got the best start in his heat race. Out in front, he had a very, very clear run, a great big jump, was flying all the way, and unfortunately the cardinal sin of rallycross, he forgot to take his joker lap. A 30-second penalty drops him down the order. Tor Kristoffersen and Ola Christian Veiby had a fight all the way through their heat race. Kristoffersen had a massive moment coming down the hill, and Veiby did well not to get collected. But as a result of their fighting, Tommy Rustad got away and won the heat race. Liam Doran made an absolutely fantastic start in his race. Despite contact from both sides, he was brave and managed to pop out in front of everyone. The British bomb was on a flyer, while Karlsson and Hunsped were coming together, slowing each other down. Karlsson came off worst, lost a couple of positions. Well, that was the way it looked. In fact, it was Hunsped who was off worst. He retired with broken front suspension. A win for Liam Doran. The young stars of Rallycross RX came together at the start of their heat race. Bakkerud and Hansen. Hansen backed out of it. Linnerud then flattered the side of Bakkerud. Here's a look at it on board. Linnerud sideways, pushing Bakkerud wide. Hansen had to go to the joker lap, and in fact Linnerud went with him. That meant Hansen had to put a fantastic pass on him over the jump just before the final hairpin at Holjes. Bakker, meanwhile, was clear out front and was pushing much harder than yesterday. Great drive from the Norwegian, saw him go fastest. On to race 7 of Heat 3, just 2 races to go. Daniel Holten, Anton Markland, Henning Solberg and Petter Solberg side by side, and Reinis Nittisch, championship leader, of course. On the outside, inside him, the 2 Solbergs. Not sure that's where I'd want to be sitting on the grid. Both the Solbergs are brave. I wonder if there'll be any brotherly love into turn 1. Maybe a bit of carnage. There is your man leading the championship at the minute. Nittisch with a win, of course, in Norway. Anti-lags on. Who's going to get a clean start? It's pretty even across the grid. More contact on the outside between Nittisch. Solberg being brave. Henning's on the inside of him. Solberg. Nobody else would have held on to that. My goodness me, so sideways.
That was so brave. He almost got onto the guys on the inside so they didn't have any room for big contact. Turned him a little bit, but then big throttle, using all the road. Fantastic move. You know, that's where bravery counts, because he was very brave around the outside. Some people have backed out of that, but you know, he's out in front, he's in clear air. Fantastic move.
Absolutely brilliant. That was Petter Solberg all over. You're looking at his brother Henning there, now looking back from Petter's rear wing. What a brilliant view as well. Sideways down into that very, very fast right-hander. Up and over the jump. Oh, clatters the sun guard there on the jump.
That turn 1 was such a fine line to go wrong. You know, you're trusting that he doesn't just turn you 2 sideways and turn you around. So he had trust in the other guys, but still, it was a little bit of contact. Really impressive.
If that hadn't been Henning on his inside, I think he'd have got turned around. I don't know whether Henning would have let him off the leash or not. I mean, yeah, what do? Do you give him a get-out-of-jail-free card or you spin him round?
Yeah, it's his brother, but he wants to beat him. So yeah, but yeah, it'd be a bit awkward if he turned him around, wasn't it? 47 dead on the first lap. So compared to backwards 47.3 on his first lap, he's looking very impressive.
Very, very fast then from Petter Solberg, with probably the most incredible start we've seen all season, I think. Out of the pack, around the outside on the lock stops. This is one of the corners where Petter's style really works, Andrew.
Yeah, he's very aggressive on the turn, and here you'll see he gets the car set up on the way in. He'll just hang it there, a little bit of left foot brake, and get the car turning off. So, you know, very unique driving style, but there's certain corners that really, really pay off for that.
We saw it work really well in Portugal, didn't we? It maybe hasn't suited some of the other circuits we've been to, but it certainly seems to be working here.
Markland's going well as well. You know, he's a couple of tenths off Solberg on that last lap, but Markland's very, very quick. We saw yesterday a massive jump which caused a DNF for him. So he needs a quick heat time to get back in contention. He's been really impressive this year. He's stepped up his game a lot. I think he spoke to you about that. He's really looked at where he can improve. He's got Toppy Heikkinen in the team with him as well, which will always help bring him on.
Well, I think when Toppy came in, you know, the feeling was probably Toppy was going to be the quicker of the two, and in fact Anton was quicker than him in Finland. Yeah, I gave Anton a lift out the circuit as we see Petter from the iron spotters down. There's Pernilla calling his joker lap for him. She's on the radio. Solberg down, he's on his final lap. He has to take the joker on this lap. Don't miss it, Petter. Do not miss the joker lap. Straight on and into it. Yeah, Markland, who follows him into the joker lap, said that he's not having to drive. Last year he was taking risks and he still wasn't going quick. This year he's able to drive at 90% and isn't having to, you know, still going quick.
It's just that confidence, and you can let it come to you then. You don't need to try too hard, you don't need to force things, you don't need to take unnecessary risks and cause DNFs. So it's, you know, it just comes to you that Solberg on the last lap 43.6 is absolutely on a mission. I wouldn't be surprised that this will take quickest time of the heat so far.
Solberg with an engine change we heard overnight. Henning Solberg also, so both the Solberg brothers with a fair bit of work. Just rolls the throttle over the jump, doesn't go too big. Solberg's going to take this one. It's going to be a fast heat for everyone, I think. Solberg over the line with tyres smoking. Markland follows him. Holten, Nittisch and Henning Solberg. Petter able to take a deep breath. Can't wait to get the door open. Look, big smile on his face. He loves it. Petter loves it. Thumbs up. Down to the interview. There's Pernilla. Pernilla waving and using the radio. The guys rolling off the circuit and away back to the paddock. Petter Solberg with a 3:0.10. Markland, Holten, Nittisch and Henning Solberg. Here's where they slot in. Petter goes fastest, and the other three slot into third, fourth and fifth. Molly is up here in the spotters tower, and she is with Pernilla Solberg.
Pernilla, that was a spectacular start from Petter.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it was a fantastic start yesterday with the heat win, and then a little bit of a struggle in the second heat, and now third heat, really a good drive.
confident he's getting to the semi-finals?
Yeah, it looks good. I mean, he was third overall before this heat, so hopefully that's what we have to aim for all the time, to get points and to be there. So it was a good effort, a really good effort.
Thank you very much, Pernilla.
Well, Pernilla very, very pleased with that performance. I think Petter will be too. Here's that start, Andrew.
Solberg just leaning on there, slight contact. Good job. Because it was so compact between the 5 cars, there wasn't room for a big whack. It was just a rub the whole way in. And, you know, it's when it's big contact like that which will turn him round. That was just a slight rub and just helped the car turn. You can see the front very soft on landing and comes back up. We've seen how soft Solberg runs his car. Very unique driving style, very unique setup, but he certainly makes it work well.
Very, very big jump on that one, and a big result too. Petter Solberg going fastest. There's one more heat race to come. I wonder if any of these guys, who of course were the fastest 5 yesterday, will be able to get ahead of Petter. The Monster Energy girls are heading off the grid, which means they are almost ready to start. Timosyanov, who was sitting first place overnight. Here's how they line up. Timosyanov, Sebastian Eriksson, Matthias Ekström, Topi Heikkinen and Pontus Tiedemund. Both the EKRX cars are in this one. Good showing from them yesterday afternoon. Timosyanov on the inside, the Russian driver, hasn't had a win since 2012. Sits atop the standings after a difficult start to the season. And Sebastian Eriksson with a better time yesterday than all of his Olsberg's MSC teammates. Here we go, away from the line. The bonnets lift and the cars fly. That's a bad start on the outside. Tiedemund got a bad start. A great start on the inside there from Timosyanov, and Ekström looks like he might get around the outside. Ekström surely going to go to the Joker, and he does. Tiedemund goes with him.
A great move there. You can see Ekström again just breaks out of the carnage a little bit at turn 1. And I think if you go down there with the view, if you're in the middle, you're probably going to take the Joker lap. It's best to get out, try and get the undercut, which they did, so then you're already alongside them as you come out of turn 1. You can go straight to the Joker lap.
So Timosyanov then, and Sebastian Eriksson right behind him. Now we're of course used to seeing Bakkerud and Nitish up here, but Eriksson, he probably, I don't know, will he fear Timosyanov or not?
Not at all, no. He's young and fearless, so we've seen how quick he is. You can see how aggressive he turned the car in there. He knows he's very quick. Equally, it's a fine line of how much you want to battle with Timosyanov, because you know it's going to be a real quick heat time, but as I said, he's very young, so he wants to prove that he's the quickest here today.
Oh, and he's having a little look at Timosyanov, turns the car in early, opens the throttle early too, up and over the jump. Timosyanov here is having to defend really hard from Eriksson. Eriksson been racing in Folk Race, which is like a budget rallycross up here in Scandinavia. And Olsberg
slowed coming out. I don't know if he missed a gear or if there was a gear problem. You can see Eriksson really slowed on the way out. That will give Timosyanov a little bit of breathing space just to concentrate on his own race. His spotters will be telling him that he's clear now from behind. He doesn't have to defend.
And Topi, of course, has now got a bit of a carrot to try and get past Eriksson. But Eriksson, he's been invested in here along with Nitish and Bakkerud, really. Olsberg's in the
very young, but with youngsters, you know, obviously very quick, sometimes might lack a little bit of experience, but Sebastian has done a lot of rallycross before last year in America. Bakkerud and Nitish have as well, so they're very experienced. You can see Eriksson going for the Joker, real sideways on the way in. Where's he going to slot out with Ekström and Tiedemund?
Oh, he's going to come out behind them. He comes out behind them. So Ekström and Tiedemund, while we've been watching the battle out front, Ekström and Tiedemund have been making hay. So Timosyanov then was just in front. Timosyanov might have enough entry to slot out.
I think it's going to be close with Ekström, if I'm honest. Ekström's putting some real quick laps. Tiedemund's got some bodywork really rubbing there. That's from contact with Eriksson. But the sudden slowing of Eriksson, where there was a missed gear, has really cost him, because I think he'd have certainly come out in front of Tiedemund if he hadn't had that.
So this is all going to be about when Timosyanov and Topi Heikkinen take their Joker laps. Timosyanov into lap 4. In he goes, because they both have to take it now.
Yeah, I think Ekström's going to come out in front. He's just about 3 seconds behind Timosyanov. It's going to be really close. Yeah, he's done it.
He does. Ekström does it. Ekström's out in front. Timosyanov, contact between him and Tiedemund. Timosyanov almost spins him round. He's up the inside now on the right hand. And Tiedemund gets pushed wide. Timosyanov just about slots in front. Ekström, though, taking the lead.
That looked like Tiedemund had done enough around the outside, but as you've seen in some corners, there's so much dirt and rubbish out there, he couldn't get the traction, so that'll have slowed Timosyanov a little bit, but good hard racing there.
Ekström with the lead, absolutely flying. He was second overnight yesterday. He was second and third in the heats. Where's this one going to put him in heat 3? They're in a line around over the line. Ekström takes it from Timosyanov with a brilliant drive.
That will put Ekström second, I think, behind Solberg.
Fantastic drive from the DTM driver. A team owner now, of course, in Rallycross RX. Ekström, Timosyanov, Tiedemund, Sebastian Eriksson and Topi Heikkinen slotting in where in Heat 3 standings. Well, we'll have a look in a moment. Here's the replay.
Just keep an eye on Ekstrom in the middle, look. He backs out of it a little bit there. Yeah, he hasn't got the best starts, but he's already thinking he's coming across there behind Ericsson to go to the Joker lap.
So he's managed to carry speed, Andrew. Sometimes when you see people change their mind in turn 2, they've already braked for turn 2 and then they go, I'm going to go Joker.
Yeah, I think going down to the first corner, he's already made his mind up he was going to go to the Joker lap. So he's braked out of it, got some clear air. What the last thing you see the contact there, it looks like Tiedemann's done enough around the outside, but Timosyanov on the clean track gets the traction and beats him off the corner.
If Tiedemann hadn't been there, I think Timosyanov would have been off. Brilliant win by Ekstrom. Molly is up in the Iron Spotters Tower.
Another fantastic result there for Ekstrom.
Yeah, it was great. It was simply fantastic. Great drive by him. We had a good strategy with the Joker as well, so everything works according to plan. And then Pontus is good as well. So yeah, it was 7th, so it's a great start of the day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, here are the standings after Heat 3. Petter Solberg is currently top, with Matthias Ekstrom in 2nd, and Timosyanov goes from 1st down to 3rd. Toppy, then Holton, Ericsson, Baccarat and Tiedemann. In just outside are Liam Doran, Eric Farren, Anton Markland and Alexander Wahl. Some of the star names not making it through to the semis at the minute. Motorsport is almost the only sport where women can compete head-to-head with their male counterparts. This weekend, Rallycross RX sees 8 female drivers, but they're not the only women working in the paddock.
My new role in the FIA's Women in Motorsport Commission is to have meetings with the other women and to discuss possibilities to support and promote women in motorsport. Everything from marshals to drivers, co-drivers, engineers, team managers.
Many women always think that rallycross is for guys, but it's not. And that's why it's good we have so many girls this year.
The practical steps to get more women into motorsport, I think, is to promote the women that are involved in motorsport and promote the positive results, and also to get the world to know that women are very capable and can compete on the same conditions as men.
To have a role model in some way, I think that is what we need. Role models in drivers, role models in team principals, mechanics, engineers, everything. So I hope we see more women taking those roles.
So what attracts women to what has traditionally been a very much male-dominated environment?
The speed, the action, the people, it's fantastic all over.
Yeah, it's really good because it's so much family and it's a good spirit all the time. So yeah, it's really good for women to be here.
I'm hoping to take the step to supercar. Of course, that's the goal, and could live off rallycross.
It would be really fun to have an old team and a good team, but I'm happy where I am now.
What I would like to see in the future and a target for lady drivers in rallycross and all motorsport is that I don't think that people should even react that it's a girl. I think every people shall look at the girls as drivers and not, oh, look, a female driver. It's a driver among other drivers. That's my goal.
So here we are on board for Heat 1 in Sweden, on board with me, Liam Doran, watching me take off the start now, and we're going to watch 2 laps of me run the track and actually win my heat race from start to finish, which was a good result for me. So I'll get to what we're doing. It's quite interesting for me to see what I am actually doing in the car, because most of it comes naturally and you just learn to drive when you're a kid, and it goes from there really, and no one's ever taught me any lessons on how to do it, so it's quite interesting for me to see. But anyway, on to what I'm doing. We're watching my feet, obviously. The pedals are quite confusing because you're seeing them from the front and the back, but it's the configurations as normal: clutch on the left, brake pedal in the middle and throttle on the right. The big pink handle is my handbrake, and then the white handle is my gear lever. So we've done a lap already and I haven't really said much, so let's go on to the next lap. So you can see I'm braking with my left foot only, trying to balance the car out, trying to balance the throttle and the brake to keep the car on the track, basically. You'll see on a lot of the times I'm entering into the corner, I'm pulling the pink handle, which is the handbrake, to try and help get the car to rotate on the way in. And you'll also see that sometimes I'm not lifting the throttle to change gear because we have a full throttle gear change system, which means I can leave my foot flat to the floor and change gear. But then other times you'll see me use the clutch. You just have to do that solely on feeling. Track's really fast here actually. Going down this hill with flat and 6th gear, you can see my gear counter on the dash showing what speed. We're doing about 100 mile an hour coming down there, down to about 70 mile an hour over this jump. And yeah, I mean, that's 2 laps. That's the Joker lap and the normal lap of Sweden. And this is my race going from the start line to the finish line in first.
Coming up, Supercar Heat 4, the live Supercar semi-finals, the final of RX Lights, and the final for Supercars.
Matthias, another great time and a fantastic result in Heat 3. Take us through it.
Yeah, it was pretty nice start. I was not as good as the others, but then I could joker in the first lap and had a clean run until I came up to Toppy. But they were all very quick guys, and then once everybody joked, I was in front, so it was pretty nice. And also through the run to see Pontus right behind me, and unfortunately he didn't really manage to pip Timur, so still was a great Heat 3 for the EKS guys.
Start of Heat 4, and one of the first to have to go into battle was Davy Genet. He'd had a fantastic run in Heat 3, but he'd forgotten to take his joker lap, the 30-second penalty, and he was one of the first out for the next heat. Managed to slot out in front of Rennie Munich in the Fabia, but Genet took the win. Lucas Walfridsson was fastest away from the start in the distinctive 5-cylinder yellow Clio. He took a win that he wasn't to lose. Flying high over the famous Holjes jump, Walfridsson is very local indeed, the workshop for the team just down the road. Finnish driver Patsy, returning for another crack after being with us last weekend in Finland, but nobody was anywhere near Walfridsson. Big spin for him after the finish. We weren't sure if it was a celebration or not. Derek Tohill had a fantastic start in his heat race, managed to get clear of everybody else, and behind him there was a lot of contact. Kristoffersson started a chain reaction with Havjorg and Carlson. Carlson ended up in the gravel. Tiger in the gravel just because he was on the throttle a little bit too early. Havjorg ended up with a puncture. Rear left had gone down and span off into the gravel. He rejoins just behind Tohill. The reality was that Tohill was clear out in front. Great drive by the Irishman, the current touring car champion, to win the race. Heat 4 race 4 saw a great start by Frode Holter in the Hyundai. He got clear after a little tap from Erik Fahren. Erik Fahren, when he went to the joker lap in the C4, ran a little bit wide, almost touched the barriers, but manages to hold on to it. And in fact, when he slotted in, he was still in front of Rajla, so great drive by Fahren. Frode over the jump, had clear air in front of him. When he came out from the joker lap, it was Veiby who slotted into second behind him, and the battle raged just behind them between Haugen and Fahren. Haugen had lost out to Fahren, tried to come back in the inside on Velodrome, but Fahren held on. It was Holter who won. Heat 4, race 5. Tord Linnerud, Johan Kristoffersson, Peter Hedström, Robin Larsson and Tommy Rustad. A very good start procedure here. Thumbs up from the marshals. They walk back to safety behind the cars. They get a ready-to-race board. That disappears, and then it's a random start. Red lights out, green lights on. There we go. Didn't look like a great start from Kristoffersson. He's slow off the mark and drops back. And Hedström into the lead at turn 1. Everybody widen in the dirt. Kristoffersson's lost loads of time there. And Larsson right at the back. Robin Larsson right at the back.
Kristoffersson there tried to get stuck in the middle, and there was a bit of contact we've seen so many times at turn 1 there. Put him into the gravel, but then he made the decision to go straight to the joker lap to get that out of the way and done.
Well, I'm wrong. Larsson was in third place. My mistake. So it must have been Rustad that was at the back, not Larsson.
No, I think it actually looked like Larsson was about to go to the joker lap. I think he saw that Rustad and Kristoffersson did, so then he came to the normal track. But I saw Larsson off the start. I could just see that he looked like he had to dip the clutch again. Looked like it bogged a little bit, and that dropped him back going into the first corner.
Leading this one then, Hedström from Linnerud. Larson is in third. Larson, of course, who had that fantastic debut in the Audi at Lydden Hill, Andrew, when you were there.
Yeah, he's very, very quick. You know, that was, I think, the car's second ever outing. He's down to win the European Championship before. He's got Michael Jernberg working with them, who's won a lot of rounds in the European Rallycross Championship. So the car looks really, really well sorted. Robin's come up from the touring car category and is doing a really good job. He's just been a little bit out of luck at this weekend, which is a shame, because I think he should be right up at the front where he was at Lydden.
Hopefully we'll see him return there as the season goes on.
The car's up so fast down that part, just set the car up so nicely. Christopherson using all the curve there, and he's looking at the inside of Rustad.
Doesn't manage to get through, but he is alongside Rustad now from the commentary position. We can see that they're racing down to turn one in third and fourth place. The leaders are together, but not changing position. It's Hedstrom and Linnerud.
I'm surprised Linnerud didn't try and take the Joker there, because now they've only got to do it on the last lap, so he's going to finish second unless Hedstrom makes a mistake. So if I were him, I would have gone to the Joker, and the best lap I could, try and then undercut Hedstrom when he takes it on the last lap.
There's always a chance there that one of them will make a mistake on their Joker, isn't there? So you go together. If the guy in front of you makes a mistake, where do you go?
Exactly, and if Linnerud's taking it, then it puts the extra bit of pressure onto Hedstrom, because he knows he's got to put a good lap in, and he's got to get his Joker spot on when he does it on the last lap.
Linnerud backs it in second place, spectacular in the Clio. He's earlier on the throttle than Hedstrom, but Hedstrom still leads. Both these guys are going to have to Joker this time. Andrew, what do you think about the gap back to the guys in the third and fourth? Oh, Rustad really sideways out the commentary box, down towards turn one. We're going to get a good shot now at the exit of the Joker lap. Hedstrom's going to come out and he's easily in front.
They're both easily clear there, aren't they? Christopherson actually has done Rustad, so they were banging doors on the finish straight, and he's got out in front, but he got caught in a lot of traffic, so that's not going to be a great heat time for Christopherson.
A few people struggling to get the times done. We're not sure if it's track condition. I think probably it's not track condition. If I'm really honest, I think it's the drivers in the final heats are just the fastest drivers out there. Whether they're trying harder, just having a good weekend, or a better setup, these guys will be hoping they can scrape through to the semis and get a bit of luck. It's Hedstrom, Linnerud, Christopherson, Rustad and Larson over the line. Close together in the end, despite quite a few offs in that one, through the dirt on the outside of turn one in particular. Here's the result of race 5 of Heat 4. Peter Hedstrom, Tord Linnerud, Johan Christopherson, Tommy Rustad and Robin Larson. And in fact, Hedstrom goes quickest there with Linnerud in second. So both those guys pipping Wilfredson. That's a good result. Let's see who is with Molly in the spotters tower.
This is Hedstrom's second race win. Are you happy with the result?
Yes, we are happy so far. But the problem yesterday, we have not enough points for come to the semi. So, but we are happy for all sponsors and everything that are here now. So it's funny, and also all people that are here.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Replays from race 5 of Heat 4. Just 3 to go. The quick boys are coming. But Peter Hedstrom did a good job there, Andrew.
He backed them all up behind. You can see Christopherson out in the gravel there, which has really hurt his overall heat time. He's been very quick all weekend, just a bit unlucky on his heats. It just shows that you can be as quick as those over one lap, but you just need the luck of the draw on the heats.
That was the battle between Rustad and Christopherson in the background. Hedstrom there with a bit of contact with Linnerud. Linnerud gave him a little nudge. Hedstrom smoked up the rear right tyre. He still made it through. Long left-hander on the right through the Joker, and those guys slotted out in front of the rest of the pack. That was relatively comfortable. Time for the final 3 races of Heat 4. Race number 6, Timmy Hansen, Liam Doran, Jacques Villeneuve, Alexander Wahl and Henning Solberg. There is Doran. On board with him now, just attaching the window net at the side. The pink handle on the handbrake. Number of the drivers marking the handbrake up differently, just so they can spot the difference between the two. The gear stick, there's Hansen, look. So red for the gears, I think.
They try and do it because the handbrake and gear lever are so close together. They just want to have it marked up so they know exactly, you know, with the pink one's a very good idea, really bright, so they can just go for that for the handbrake and don't get it mixed up with the gear stick.
So Villeneuve, our XF1 world champion, is in with some of the very, very quick boys at Rallycross RX. The crowd are starting to stand up just by the start, and you can tell that always means the action is starting to build. There they go, one by one, popping up to get a better view of the start. Who's going to take this one down into turn one? Great start by Doran, got good traction away from the line. Hansen's going to have to slot in behind him, and almost certain Villeneuve's in the middle of the grid. Who's going to be out on the dirt? Doran, and then behind him Hansen goes to. Hansen straight to the Joker lap. Villeneuve goes to the Joker lap as well, and Henning Solberg slotted in too. So good start, Liam.
Great start by Doran there. You can see his reaction was the best out of all of them, and it really hooked up well. Hansen did exactly what we thought he would. Take a Joker lap straight away, get it out of the way, and you know, he's 10th at the minute, so he needs a quick heat time. He's got clear air, you can see, and we've seen how quick he's been this weekend, so the spotters will be on to him. Just push, don't worry about what's behind you, just push maximum attack.
On board now with Timmy Hansen.
Flat in sixth down here, the car's moving on the brakes, look at it, flicking all in, down 2 gears, fourth, all over the curves. Get the car set up for the jump there. Quite heavy on the front there.
Big jump from Hansen. Loving his style this year, a little bit sideways in a few places, but keeping the tidiness, which of course is his trademark. Coming from a single-seater background, Timmy Hansen, let's hope he can get on the podium here. Hasn't been on the podium for a year. Last time was at Holjes, last time out. Doran, he saw him go light in the seat again, Andrew. The forces in these cars are unbelievable.
The cars and drivers are taking such a hard time. You can see massive curves, but the elevation changes. Big, you know, that jump there, the road just suddenly drops away from because the car's having a huge amount of grief. But the teams, especially the ones with the experience, you know, Hansen's cars look like they handle the big jumps so well, and that's coming from, you know, Kenneth's won the European Championship how many times, and the experience he's gained from that with the car setup. On here, light, very hard landing, that's going to flip the car into the last corner.
Doran, he's got mega car control, Doran.
He has, you know, and he's really calmed it down because a few years ago he drove so sideways, and I think certainly sharing his backward last year, he's really neat in his driving up, and I watched the on-board of him last night, and he drove it really nice and neat, getting good drive out of all the corners. So I think he's taken, you know, Solberg gets away with driving it really sideways, but Liam can if he needs to, but also drives it neat when he needs to.
Timmy Hansen is now right up behind Alexander Wahl. Of course, those guys were together at Hansen Motorsport last year. Hansen is now Peugeot Hansen. We're looking at Villeneuve with Solberg behind him. Villeneuve and Solberg have both jokered already. But ahead of them, as I say, Hansen is bottled up behind Wahl. That's what we want to see, is whether or not he can get released from that battle for second place.
Hansen on the last lap set the fastest lap, so he's going to hope he doesn't get held up too much. Liam there, a little tug on the handbrake, get the car turned and straighten up the exit. Hansen's going to be really hoping at Wahl, he's going to take his Joker, it's the last lap. So hopefully it hasn't hurt his time too much, being stuck up behind him.
So there goes Wahl across the Joker lap. Hansen on the inside. He's going to come out in front of Wahl comfortably. Everybody behind us joking already. Oh! So Hansen then in front of Doran.
Hansen had really been reacting to what the spotters were telling him. He's put in 2 purple laps. When the time screws goes purple, it means he's the fastest man on the track, and he's done exactly what he needs to. While Duran was out front, he knew Duran was going to take his Joker on the last lap, so he pushed as hard as he could to get the undercut.
I was really caught out by that, Andrew. I didn't see Doran go to the Joker lap at all. The thing that told me Timmy had gone to the lead was we could hear the crowd from the competition cheering. It's going to be a home heat race win for Timmy Hansen. Rounds the last corner and takes the checkered flag. Brilliant job by him. He hunted Doran down over the 4 laps.
Great job by Timmy. That's 3:08 minute 2.9. That's going to put him somewhere in the top 6 at a guess.
So Doran then jokered. And Timmy managed to come out in front. On board with Timmy there. It's reaching up to the right-hand side to the headrest. That's where the radio button is. Timmy Hansen wins with a 3:02.9. Liam Doran, Alexander Wahl, Jacques Villeneuve and Henning Solberg. There's where they slot in. Timmy and Liam right to the top of the table, and they both needed that. Let's have a chat with Molly, who's up here with the Hansen team.
Great race for Timmy.
Yeah, really great. And I mean, we were on the limit to be able to go to the semi-final. So I think with this position, we will be there. So it's good. It feels great.
Thank you.
There is the Iron Spotters Tower, where the teams are standing to tell them when to do their jokers. And
Just watch Timmy Hansen now. He knows he's going to go to the joker, so he carries speed in. It almost clips the back.
Tiny lift, wasn't it? A tiny lift, but he got away with it.
There, so he's just modulating the throttle and the brake, carrying the speed in.
I'll tell you what, Wahl must have been going well as well, because Timmy was behind him for a whole lap, and to have got the overlap on Liam in just sort of the difference between, you know, the 3 laps. Here was Liam coming out and Timmy was in front of him. Either Liam made a mistake in the joker, which we didn't see, or Timmy was
I think it was
flying.
just the laps that Timmy had been putting in after he'd taken the joker on lap 1, if I'm honest.
Brilliant drive by Timmy Hansen then. That hopefully will see him through to the semi-finals. Remember, the top 12 go through, and we've got nearly 40 supercars.
have been here every year since it started here. It's because of the beautiful
this is my first time here, so I'm just here for the rally and the people.
Say hey.
Johnny Holton, gone back, he's the best. The life is perfect right about now.
Derek Tohill, we're now finished with Heat 4. How have you been getting on this weekend?
Yeah, it's been quite tough. We had problems straight away in practice. And then in the heats we got a puncture and we had some technical issues. But last heat we more or less got it together and managed to get a win in that heat. So at least we came away with something, but we have a lot of work to do before Belgium. But team worked hard all weekend. Did a good job, and thanks to all sponsors, Tank Tools, Miller's Oils. Without their support we wouldn't be here.
What are the biggest challenges out on this track?
This track is time. It's a roller coaster, and you need to spend a bit of time on the roller coaster before it becomes very natural. So it's different in the supercar than the touring car. It's quite natural here in the touring car, but we need a few more laps of the roller coaster. That is Holjes.
Eric Fren in a borrowed Citroën this weekend in Holjes. How do you evaluate your weekend?
No, I think it was all right. I'm just outside the semi-finals, and it's okay. It's only my second event in a supercar, so I'm quite happy.
So what's the best thing you'll take out of it?
I think it's the experience and to make 4 good heats, and I'm happy with that.
Will we see you back in supercars this season?
Hopefully.
Thank you, Eric.
Går de direkt nu. Så ni som vet att ni har parkerat längs med vägen ut mot entrén, omedelbart går ni dit och flyttar på bilarna eller husbilarna. Det ska ske på en jävla omgång.
Just 2 races to go in Heat 4. Here's the lineup for race 7. Pontus and Reinis Nitish. So we have a couple of teammates from Olsberg's MSE on here. Of course, Nitish is a permanent driver in the World Rallycross Championship and currently leads the championship by a fair old margin, 96 points to Bakkerad's 82. Ericsson's on the grid with him. Would they have briefed Ericsson, do we think, not to get into a clash with Nitish? And what can you do at turn 1 if it all goes wrong? In between them is Topi Heikkinen. They're ready to race boards up. We're not going to have to wait long to find out. Let's see who can win the dash to the first corner. Great start by Topi Heikkinen. Looked like he got good traction in the middle. I think it's Ericsson that's managed to get into...
Heikkinen's out in all the gravel there. Again, he claims the victim out in all the dust. There's nothing he could really do. He just got put out there. As you say, Topi looked like he got a great initial start, a great reaction, a great launch. Then Sebastian Ericsson came right back at him into the first corner. He lunged it in there with a load of speed. It's what he had to do because he's on the inside. He's got to carry so much speed in, and that just put Heikkinen out in all the dirt.
What's managed to give him the jump, if you like, on Topi? We saw Topi's reaction time was fastest. Did he just not get as good traction?
Yeah, because off the start it's then going onto a gravel section. It goes sideways. Sebastian is there, carries great speed in. Big Daniel Horton, another of the Olsberg's MSE cars, so he's going to, they're identical cars. He's going to be giving chase. But the start goes from tarmac to gravel, so it could just be where they grab a gear. That can cause another little bit of wheel spin. There's a lot of mapping that goes into these cars off the start, so we know it's crucial. So Holton there nearly clipped the back of Sebastian, but carried good speed onto the Joker.
Ericsson continuing to lead. This is another very, very good run from him. We had him in the press conference last night, had a quick chat with him. Nitish slots in behind Holton. So Nitish then we know isn't going to be able to take this one unless he manages a couple of fantastic passes and some good laps. Heikkinen had that loss of time at the start. What about this young man? I mean, as if they haven't got enough good drivers already, Andrew. You know, they've got Bakkerad and Nitish. You were on the podium in Lydden, and now Ericsson's here killing it in Sweden.
Yeah, it's really good to see they're bringing so many young drivers on and giving them opportunities. And and Sebastian's racing in the Swedish Championship, but to have an opportunity to come and race on the world stage, and he's performing, is great for him and it's great for the team.
Well, a huge pressure really on this young man's shoulders. He's come here, you know, these one-off drives go one of two ways, don't they? You disappear and nobody gets to see what you've done, or you grasp it with both hands, and at the minute that's what Ericsson's doing.
To be honest, I think there's probably less pressure for him because the regular drivers like Nittis and Backward, they're expected to win now. They've won, they're leading the championship, they're expected to win. Sebastian's coming here as a bit of an unknown really. We all know in the industry how quick he is, but a bit of an unknown, so if he gets a result, it's an extra bonus for him. And you know, Nittis is struggling a little bit this weekend. It's going to be interesting to see how he reacts. It's going to be very important that he just keeps scoring points because yes, they want to win races, but it's very important for a championship that he's just scoring where he can.
Got to keep making those semi-finals as well. Of course, you pick up points for your classification after the heats, again in the semis and again in the final.
Sebastian Eriksson, sorry to interrupt there, did a 43.8 on the last lap, which is up there with the quickest we've seen today. So Tiedeman's going with him, and you know, only a 10 behind in the Audi, so they've got that really. So it's going to be close with Holton and Tiedemann.
Holton's got
just
him.
slots out in front.
Lovely job by Holton then. So it's an Olsberg's MSC 1-2. But it's not Nittish and Backerud. It's Eriksson and Holton. Brilliant drive by these boys. They're on the last lap, just a couple of corners to go. Everybody's smoking one rear tyre around that left-hander at Velodrome, Andrew.
Such a long corner, they're hard on the throttle, you know, 550 horsepower going through the tyres. So I love how Sebastian sets the car out there, really flicks in and straightens up his exit. I think this is going to be a real quick time for him, a great drive.
Eriksson around the last corner, he takes the checker flag, they're all very close over the line. Eriksson, Holton, Tiedemann, Nittish and Heikkinen. Heikkinen recovering, of course, from that first corner off. What a drive by young Sebastian Eriksson again. Absolutely, definitely going to be making it through to the semi-finals. Eriksson there with Holton, Tiedemann, Nittish and Heikkinen. And the top two go to the top of the table, so Eriksson and Holton go ahead of Hansen. Tiedemann is faster as well. Let's see who Molly's with in the spotters tower.
Eriksson into Holjes here. I mean, how do you feel about his driving?
He's a great guy. I saw him do driving folk race when he was younger, and I followed him the last 4 or 5 years. And I'm trying to develop him like I do with Johnny Wiemann here in America slowly. And this was the first time ever he come on a big event, and he did well. He has more capacity than we see. But he also come from a sport where, you know, if you see Nittis come from racing and he come from, you know, hard, more rally style, which works better here. And Nittis were, you know, Nittis struggled a little to get the speed because he's used to the tight and nice lines, and Sebastian loves it there. You know, I love to see the different styles, and you know, it's amazing. It's great.
Thank you very much.
There we are, you heard it from the man himself, a development programme in place, and what a driver to have picked for it. Followed him for 4 or 5 years. Folk race, if you're not sure, is the entry-level rallycross here in Scandinavia. Andrew, that was the off at the first corner.
Again, it was just the dust on the outside. Toppy got a real equal start, and he was just out in all the dust. There's nothing he could do. There's such little grip on that sort of dust going from the clean tarmac. But great drive by Sebastian, and also Pontus in the Audi. They've really got that going well, so it's going to be interesting to see how they progress through the season.
Flying the EKS RX team, I think this is what, their 3rd event. They joined us in Norway, yes, in Norway, Finland and Sweden. They've been at the Scandinavian legs. They're hoping to be with us for most of the rest of the season. Not sure whether they're going to do the flyaways or not yet, but all the talk here is about Sebastian Eriksson in that one, taking a great heat race win. Here we go then with the quickest of the quick from Heat 3. Here's the lineup for the final heat race of Heat 4. Petter Solberg, Matthias Ekström, Andreas Backerud, Anton Markland and Timmers Janov. A good recovery from Markland to get himself into this final race. He was very, very fast in Heat 3, but he hasn't had the best weekend. The other guys are on the grid. Backerud is currently sitting 7th after 3 heats. Timmers Janov is up in 3rd, Ekström and Solberg 2nd and 1st. You're on board now with Solberg, the 2003 World Rally Champion. He'll want to make it down to turn 1 first, and he doesn't! Solberg with a stall on the grid, so Solberg is left standing on the grid. Oh, contact there between, that's
very brave by Backerud round the outside there. Just squeezed Ekström onto the curb, and Ekström's bumper's hanging off now.
Sideways from Markland as well into the Joker lap.
We've seen that before with Solberg. You either get blinded starts or it bogs, and he's obviously running the revs.
From Solberg there, doesn't take the Joker. Sometimes when people get a bad start, they go straight to the Joker, but he knows if he doesn't take it, he can slot out. If he can now get a couple of good laps in, he could maybe beat the 2 guys at the back. And either way, Solberg currently sitting at the top of the standings. He's going to go through, but is he going to lose his front row position in the semi-finals?
It's going to be close. I think we're really going to see Solberg drive absolute maximum attack now, but he's driving with the championship in mind. we've seen that so far this year. It's not all about winning the heats, it's about scoring the points and getting good, reasonable times. So yes, he's going to want to get back into contention, and he's going to be driving absolutely flat out to try and undercut the other two.
Backerud and Ekstrom out front. Solberg is sitting in third place but has jokered already. Hasn't jokered, and Mark and Timosyanov behind him have, so Solberg's got to get a gap. Sorry, Andrew.
Backerud's on an absolute mission. He's in a 46.6 on the first lap. That's by far the quickest. We've only seen 47s off the start, so he's on an absolute mission. I wonder if they've put some fresher tyres on for this race, because they know how important this one could be.
Well, we know Solberg was going to do that. I saw Solberg this morning. They're putting new tyres on his car for Heat 3. He said no, save them for Heat 4, and unfortunately that's been waiting with a bad start. But Backerud not wasting new rubber if that's what he's on. He's leading at the moment, but Ekstrom's going with him. So it's contact behind those from the into the joker. Ekstrom goes into the joker. Backerud with a massive jump. That's what we mean by going too far over the jump.
Huge jump, but Backerud at 43.3.
Oh, still got to joker, but he came out and clattered the front left corner of Ekstrom. Hopefully no damage.
I don't think that would cost too much time, but the Audi's looking a little bit beat up after the first corner with Backerud. But Backerud's just done the fastest lap of the weekend so far in a 43.3, so he's pushing like mad, and this is definitely going to put him back into contention. Probably the top 6 overall going through to the semis.
Andreas Backerud yesterday was looking like he was on the cusp of not making it. He was the winner here last year, don't forget. He's in 7th place after Heat 3, and he's on an absolute flyer. Is he going to win Heat 4 and push himself up the standings just a little bit more? On board with Petter Solberg. He's got to go to the joke lap. Here he goes. Watch the speed into there. The dirt flies behind him. He pitches it in. He's going to come out behind Backerud. Ekstrom's got it.
I was going to say, Backerud on the last lap went from a 43.3 to a 45.5, so he's done it in 2 seconds. So he must have made a mistake, had a car problem. Backerud's slow.
He's got a puncture. Backerud then is in trouble, just as we said he wasn't. We're looking at the car. I think is it maybe the rear left or rear right? It's hard to tell. Solberg around the outside of Markland. This is the fastest part of the circuit. Solberg's been really brave down in 6th gear.
Side by side.
Oh, is it going to be an off or not? He holds on over the curve. Solberg's using all the track, all the curve. Timosyanov's in behind him. Up over the jump. Backwards drop back. Markland's in front. Solberg up the inside. Unbelievable finish to this one. Ekstrom's gone away in the distance. But it's Markland, Backerud, Solberg and Timosyanov. Wow. What a finish to that one.
What a race.
What a finish to the heat races. The crowd appreciating that as much as I am. Wow. Absolutely incredible race. Matthias Ekstrom does take the win from Anton Markland, Backerud, Solberg and Timosyanov. Here's where they slot into the standings. Ekstrom going fastest by a second. Absolutely fantastic drive by him. And let's have a chat with Molly, who's up in the spotters tower.
Fantastic result again for Matthias, and he's in front.
Yeah, he is. He's a great driver and a great car, and everybody done an amazing job to get him where he is. The semi-finals and see what we can do there.
Do you think you have both drivers through now to the semis?
Yeah, I think we should have, and that's just a great thing to do on our home event here in Sweden. So yeah, looking forward to the semi.
Great, thank you.
Here's the replay.
So watch Ekstrom on the inside with Backerud. Backerud a little bit on board there with Solberg. Indeed just dies, revs too low, gets it going again.
He doesn't look as annoyed as I thought he might.
See, Backerud just carries so much speed in. He's marking really sideways into the joke lap, carries so much speed.
Too sideways, isn't he? Lines the car up early, has to turn back out and in again, but still managed to come around in 2nd place, Mark. And so he's picked the pace up right at the end of the weekend. Where was he?
Smoking the tyres, maximum attack there.
Markland might make it. He's in 15th place. We'll have to have a look in a minute at the knockout qualifiers. Andrew, carry on.
I can't see anything on Backerud. If I can't see a punch or anything like that, there must be a problem, because he jumped 2 seconds, and someone like Backerud, I wouldn't think just does that unless it was a mistake.
Well, not when he was flying so hard as he was. This was the carnage at the end of the lap. Absolutely incredible through the last couple of corners over the gravel and down to the jump. And that was how close they finished. Let's have a look and see at the standings. After Heat 4 will let us know where they're going to go. Knockout qualifying, Matthias Ekstrom. First time for EKRX to take the top qualifying position right the way down to Linnerud. Markland doesn't make it. You can see he's down there in 14th. So the top 12 go through. Doran's in, Backerud's in, Nittish. Here's how they split. Semi-final 1, Ekstrom, Timosyanov, Holton, Tiedemann, Nittish and Doran. Semi-final 2, Petter Solberg, Sebastian Eriksson, Heikkinen, Hansen, Backerud and Linnerud. A great lineup.
Nittis, how do you sum up the weekend so far?
I don't know, sometimes like it together with me, sometimes no, but yeah, now I think I'm unlucky because I all three heats, heat 2, 3 and 4, I start from outside, and it's not so good start position, but at that moment we need to be really strong and looking forward for the final, pre-final. I don't know about final, but I will try my best, and we'll see. The 9th position after 4 heats, not so good, but yeah, for the championship points, it's more or less okay.
Great, thank you, Nittis.
There's more to come. The live Supercar semi-finals, the final of RX Lights, and the final for Supercars.
Anton, tough weekend, DNF yesterday, and unfortunately not through to the semi-finals. Take us through it.
No, I mean, I was a little bit too pumped to be in Holjes, I guess, and I was overshooting the jump in the first heat, and that broke my rear suspension, and I had to shut the car down and just wait for the finish flag for the others and get the tow truck out. After that, I was pushing really hard and I was scoring good lap times. I was 4th and 7th, I think, and I really had the pace, but unfortunately the first heat with the bit long jump and a bit hard landing made it not so good for me this weekend. But anyway, it's such a good time to be in Holjes racing for the fans here and at the home track.
Timo, how's the weekend been so far?
Yeah, we have really tough last heat, 4th one. We are bad luck on the start, just lose for everybody. But Peter was on the back still, but still we need to fight. And then after that we have a lot of fun because Baki have some problems on the last lap, and we're just going like in chairs, change the places and everything like this. Try to find the place where to overtook. Yeah, we are bad on the time, but still we're on the 3rd place, like after the heat 3. And we just try to be faster than Peter and Matthias, but they are on the front of me, I think so. But the semi-final will be soon, and we will see who will be in the final actually. And after that, we will see who will be the first one.
A lot of the drivers are saying it's a very challenging track. Obviously, what's the strategy now for the semis?
Yeah, just win the start and go your own race, and keep it going. Like only one target, just win the start. It's easy to drive when you have a clean track. You can see everything. And on the back you need to correct something, but if you jump somewhere and something is closed and then you can't see where you're landing, it can be bad for the car. That's why main target win the start.
Thank you very much.
Well, some absolutely fantastic racing here at Holjes this morning and early afternoon to get us through to the point where we are now approaching the semi-finals in front of what is pretty much a record crowd. 34,900 spectators, about 5,000 more than we had this time last year at Holjes, so a fantastic event. Really looking forward to the semi-finals. The drivers are as well. You can see them on the pre-grid now, just preparing themselves to head out and do battle. Top 3 from each of the semis going through to the final. My name's Andrew Coley, and alongside me is Andrew Jordan, who of course finished on the podium at the World Rallycross Championship at Lydden Hill, the British round, which was round 2 of the championship. Feels quite a long time ago now, Andrew, and this is this part of the championship, 3 events in a row. It's just been going mad.
It's a massively busy part of the season for the teams in the championship, but equally they need to make sure they know what's at the target, and they need to keep scoring where they can, try not to inflict too much damage. But what an event we've got here. Look at the crowd, massive party atmosphere, and we've had some fantastic racing so far, and I think the semi and the final is going to be hugely impressive to watch.
Brilliant. Tiedemann putting his Hans device on, not a Hans device, of course, that's a different version of the same thing to stop you from getting neck injuries in big crashes. Both the EKS RX cars made it through to the semis. That's how the knockout qualifiers finished. Top 16 were on the screen there. Of course, the top 12 go through. Ekström, Timosyanov, Holton, Tiedemann, Nittisch and Doran in semi-final 1, and in semi-final 2, Solberg, Eriksson, Heikkinen, Hansen, Backerud and Linnerud. Going to be a fantastic start to our live hour. Matthias Ekström on pole in one semi-final and Petter Solberg on pole in the other. Who's going to make it through to the final? Stay with us. It's time for a bit of Swedish metal. For 30,000 mental Swedish fans, Holjes is the hottest gig in town, and for the RX Star drivers, it's time to rock hard. Last round, the unbeatable force was the weather. As the rain fell, the dirt sections of the track turned to mud and began to claim its victims one by one. In Heat 3, Timmy Hansen added a bit of rock and roll, literally. Despite 2.5 rolls, the Peugeot Hansen team performed a gaffer-tape-based miracle and got the car back out for Heat 4.
It was crazy. With the first interview I did after the crash, I said that we won't even make it to Holjes. And the car comes in and I see this spark in the mechanic's eyes that it's possible. But I couldn't believe it until I saw they were putting tires on the car and told me to put my helmet on. So then I just had to refocus, and I went out in the start line and I won my heat and then came back in, and it was just really emotional to hug all the mechanics and say thank you. They did absolutely amazing.
In the semi-finals, it was bad luck again for the Peugeot Hansen team. Timmers Jarnov pulled out with a puncture, and poor Timmy Hansen went off again at the same corner. Semi-2 saw the biggest moment of the year. 6 cars charged up the hill towards the third corner, but only 2 made it out. Derek Tohill and Topi Heikkinen battled hard, bounced off the barriers, lost control and collected Liam Doran, who was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Solberg was viewing the race through a sea of mud and only knew what was going on when he joined the party, and finally the red flags came out. This was the cue for Mr. Hollywood to pull off one of the greatest comebacks. Solberg and the PSRX team, through a pure desire to race, got the car back out for the restart and booked their place in the final. True grit indeed. But time wasn't on Petter's side. The minutes ticked by, and to his disgust, he missed the deadline to make the final grid. Championships are lost by such margins, and Petter knew it.
I was really mad, and what can I say? I asked for 2 more minutes, then I would have been ready. I take it quite personally when I'm fighting for a world championship, and yeah.
Final time and step forth last year's winner, Tanner Faust. A flying start off the line meant that Faust was the only driver with a clean view. Not that this bothered Andreas Backerud, who passed his teammate and championship leader Reinis Nitish over the jump and just held on out of the Joker. This put the Ford Olsberg's MSE drivers second and third, but the top step was reserved for the American Faust, who held his nerve in the mud while all around him lost theirs.
Wow, what a mess. I mean, it's just the mud was so slippery and slimy that there was nothing you could do, and I knew I had to get the start. I'd been here before where literally the mud was so thick on the windshield that it was like night. I knew that if I was behind anybody, I would have to literally pull over and stop.
Tanner Faust isn't here this weekend, but last year's championship runner-up David Genet returns with Monster Energy World RX.
It's a good opportunity for me to drive in the Monster team. The last year the car win in Sweden. I hope good result for the weekend.
Reinis Nitish then extends his championship lead now from Backerud, Solberg and Heikkinen. Ford Olsberg's MSE as well with a big lead ahead of VW Markland and Peugeot Hansen. Sweden is our host country for round 5 and marks the end of our Scandinavian visit before we move on to Belgium. The Holjes track is located deep in the forests of Värmland and is host to the biggest party in the county. It's not just on the track where you're guaranteed fun. Here's our track preview presented by Ion Cameras. Away from the line, it's a right-hander with a crest and then into the Joker lap split, the standard lap over a jump, a tight right-hander and then up to the velodrome, a long left-handed banked corner, a blast then downhill on dirt, 6th gear, a very fast right-hander, an enormous jump and then a left-handed hairpin before the start-finish.
Okay, this part of the track it will get the most of the action. Here you come from the standard lap and here you have the Joker, and it's always get tight in the next left-hander corner. And also the Joker is a tricky part of the track, so here we'll see a lot of action.
Here's the surface split at Holjes, 40% dirt, 60% tar.
Now we are here in the biggest jump I have ever done before. There is the downhill, 170 kilometers per hour. You need to be inside it, turn the car to another side and be straight with car before jump. After landing you need to be on the brakes immediately because there is the left hairpin just before checker flag. If you miss that corner and that jump, you are out.
Well, here's a look at the action from yesterday. Heats 1 and 2. Sebastian Eriksson went off at turn 1 but still managed to win his heat. Anton Markland, this massive jump broke his transmission. He retired and Petter Solberg thrashed everyone in heat 1. This was a big turn 1 shunt. Nearly everybody off, left Ramona Carlson to take a very popular local heat win. Pontus Tiedemann made a fantastic jump pass in his heat race. Tord Linnerud, really unlucky, was leading his race until the final corner when everyone went past him. Solberg too broke his car, had to have an engine change overnight, and Timosjanov won heat 2. This morning, heat 3, massive save from Petter Solberg and a great win. This was Timosjanov and Tiedemann, that was Ekström. Winning his heat race, he went on to win heat 4, and this was what happened in heat 4. Petter Solberg around the outside, absolutely outrageous down the hill, and then over the final, everybody across the flag together. It's been a brilliant morning's racing, or brilliant day's racing, a brilliant weekend's racing in front of a record crowd here at Holjes. Here's what we've got coming up for you in the next hour. Live Supercar semi-finals, first of all, top 3 through, the bottom 3 out. Live RX Lights final. And of course the live Supercar final to see who wins round 5, Sweden, of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Molly was down on the pre-grid earlier on and she caught up with some of the drivers.
Pontus, only moments before the semi-final now. What's your plan?
Just to have good pace in many laps and try to do the Joker right, so it will be interesting.
Looks like there could be a little bit of rain coming. What could that mean?
Sure, it's the same for everyone now, so but then it will do more exciting, I think. So we will see.
Best of luck, Pontus. Thank you. Toppy, soon ready for the semi-final. How has the road to get here been?
It has been quite tough for me, but yeah, it's finally we are here in the semi-final. So one step more, and then we are in the final.
What's the plan for the semi-final?
I think top 3 going to the final, so I need to be there. I need to take a good start and have to be out of the problem, so clean run, I think that's enough.
How challenging could it be for you if we got a bit of rain now?
Yeah, but it can be nice also. It's good fun for the fans and for the people who are watching this, and yeah, for the drivers it's a little bit bigger problem, so but doesn't matter.
Thank you, good luck.
Well, Topi Heikkinen doesn't mind if it rains. I think the fans might take offence to a bit of rain right now. As long as it's not like Kuvula last weekend, which was a complete and utter washout, I think we'll be okay. Semi-final number 1 is lining up on the grid already. We can't wait to get this underway. If you've caught up with the heat action already, you'll know it just got wilder and wilder as the heats went by. And of course now it's semi-final time, so it's not about time, it's about getting the win. Here's how they line up for semi-final number 1 on the front row. Pole position, Matthias Ekström, Timosjanov alongside him. Daniel Holton and Pontus Tiedemann on the next row. And Reinis Nittich and Liam Doran at the rear. My name's Andrew Coley. Alongside me is British Touring Car champion Andrew Jordan, who of course also finished on the podium at the UK's round of the World Rallycross Championship. Andrew, we got some new faces in the semi-finals and I can't wait for this.
I think it's going to be really interesting. Obviously, all the guys have been worrying about their race time through the heats and not necessarily position, but now it's all about getting into the top 3. And obviously, Reinis Nittich has won every semi-final he's been in so far this year. He's starting off the back row. I think that's going to be a tall ask, but he's leading the championship, so it's important from his point of view that he keeps scoring good points.
What does he do? Go balls out to try and make the final, or do you just go for safety and see if you can get a few points from the semi?
I think he's got to keep his nose clean. It's all about points, and championships are won by scoring points on your worst day, so I think it's very important he does that. The guys are getting the thumbs up, so they'll be getting the anti-lag on and getting ready to go.
Here we go then, semi-final number 1 from round 5 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Ekström is on pole, Tiedemann's there with him on the second row, both the EKS RX cars. This is going to be interesting. Doran, don't bet against him. He's a fast starter from the back of the grid. Double champion Timosjanov, Holton on the inside. Championship leader Nittich. It's a great lineup. Who's going to get the power down and get away clean? Great start from Doran on the back road. Tiedemann goes backwards. Doran's coming from the back road. Timosyanov's alongside Ekstrom. Ekstrom gets it. Timosyanov's in the dirt. Timosyanov holds on. Holton slots in behind him. Holton to the Joker. With him has gone Doran and Nitish. So it's Ekstrom, Timosyanov and Tiedemann.
Great start by Ekstrom and Timosyanov. Very equal off the front row. Holton, I don't think actually was going to go to the Joker lap. He got a bit of a whack up the back from Duran. I think was just trying to open a little bit of a door at the inside, and it actually forced him down the Joker lap. Is that
Timosyanov? Yeah, I thought I saw someone go off in the dust when we were looking. It was hard to tell.
He's dropped behind Nitish, so he must have had a spin.
Yeah, I think Timosyanov, the right-hander after the Joker lap merged, there's a left and a right in the dust. I'm sure we saw someone go off, but there was so much dust it was hard to see. Extra leading from Tiedemann.
And he hasn't even taken his Joker, so the two brand new ODS ones have been very, very quick this weekend. It's played exactly into Ekstrom's hands. He can get his head down. We know how quick he's been, so this is just now hitting his markers. The spotters will be on the radio informing him what's going on, and I think it's going to be very, very hard to beat.
Well, Ekstrom was so fast here last year. Of course, last year he was in a Markland Polo. He's now started his own team, Andrew. He's so enthusiastic. Oh, Doran's run right. Doran runs wide. Nitish up the inside. Doran loses it up the curbs. Manages to straighten the car out, but Nitish is past him too. So Timosyanov, we think, is behind them. He's a fair way back.
That part of the circuit actually looks pretty wet there. I know they've put some of this dust sticks down, which they do to keep the dust down on the dirt section, but it looked pretty wet. If you looked at Duran's car, it looked like it had a bit of mud at the side of it. So whether that's just catching a few of them out, because it's a lot wetter than they've maybe been used to driving on this weekend.
Well, at the minute, it's Ekstrom and Tiedemann down front. Both those guys have got to Joker. Everybody behind them has done it already. So Holton, Doran, Nitish and Timosyanov have all taken their Joker laps. I think this is over for Timosyanov. He's back in 6th place. That's a bit of a disaster for the Russian. We were expecting yesterday, I think he was top qualifier after 2 heats.
I think Ekstrom has definitely got enough to come out on the Joker.
Oh, that's a spin for Tiedemann. Tiedemann spun in the same place.
Yeah.
That's the same place that Doran had a problem, the same place that Timosyanov had a problem.
I was just about to say that it was going to be close between Tiedemann and Holton on the Joker lap. Duran's going to look to try and get the inside, but I think he's got him covered. So Ekstrom, this is Ekstrom's race to lose now. He's going to just keep it nice and clean. He'll know that the other guys have had a few problems. It looked like it was going to be very close between Tiedemann and Holton, but Tiedemann made a bit of a mistake there by the looks of it. He didn't catch it all.
Well, I think Nitish is going to lose his 100% record. He's won 4 out of 4 semi-finals, but I wasn't expecting him to be able to go through. 3 people have had a mistake in exactly the same place on the circuit. Hard to tell what it is, whether it's dust or wet. We're looking now at Ekstrom. Ekstrom's in that section. Little bit tentative on the brake and the throttle, Andrew.
He's obviously realised that maybe if it is a little bit wetter, he's got to drive accordingly to that. And he's super, super impressive. It looks super smooth. The car has made a big improvement since his first race in Hell in Norway. Really, really impressive. And I think if he goes through, it's going to be if he's starting on the front row from the final, I think it's going to be very hard to beat.
Ekstrom, yesterday, I asked him in the press conference, can you win your first event with EKRS this weekend? He said, I think we can win any weekend, and laughed. Timosyanov gave him a funny look alongside him, but Ekstrom's going to get the better of Timosyanov here. Timosyanov is right at the back. Doran as well has gone backwards, and Tiedemann. So at the moment, Ekstrom is going to go over the standard lap, so Ekstrom and Tiedemann still to Joker.
Tiedemann's just done the fastest lap of the race, and I would think that's probably a bit of anger and a bit of frustration.
He's gone to the Joker lap now, Andrew. Tiedemann in the Joker lap on the left-hand side of your picture. He's going to come out of the back of the field just in front of Timosyanov, so he's definitely going to have gone. Timosyanov sideways over the jump. We need to see when Ekstrom goes to the Joker. That's what's really going to count. There's Holton and Nitish behind him. What's the gap, Andrew? You think it's going to be okay?
Yeah, I think Ekstrom's he's got 6 seconds, and we think it's about 3.5 to come out in front. So he's done a very, very clean race. It all kind of kicked off a little bit behind him. It's enabled him then not to worry, not to defend about anyone, just focus going forward.
Ekstrom is miles in front from the commentary position. We can see it. Holton spun. Holton spins. Doran's gone through into 3rd place. Doran's going to make it through to the semi-final. Ekstrom takes the Joker lap now. Here's Ekstrom. He's in the Joker. He's done the left. He's got the right to go. Look behind him. It's a massive gap. Ekstrom's going to win this easily. He's just got a couple more corners to go, and he's going to go through to the front row of the final here at round 5. It looks like Doran's going to go through as well, so we know Ekstrom's through. Who's behind him? Nitish coming through in 2nd place.
Back row. Duran's come through from back row. Brilliant spin as well, so it's all kind of opened up for some people. Good effort by Duran to come back from having a spin. We don't know what actually caused it. Was it the track conditions, or is it a problem with the car? It'll be interesting to see after, and if anyone in the next race had any problem with the same sort of thing.
You can't bet against Doran in a final either, can you? Because he's a fighter, he's a scrapper, and he may well go through. It's Ekstrom takes the checker flag. He goes through to the final. Tiedemann up the inside of Doran in the background of your picture there. They're side by side. Doran just goes over the line in front of Tiedemann. Goodness me, he nearly missed it. He nearly missed it. Liam didn't get it hooked up out the hairpin, but he is through. The top 3 are through. On board with Liam now. He'll be pleased. Wow, what a first semi-final that was. Absolutely brilliant. Couple of mistakes. Here's the result. Matthias Ekström, Reinis Nitish and Liam Doran going through. Pontus Tiedemann, Timo Timosjanov and Daniel Holton are out. Let's see where Molly is.
Matthias Ekström through to the final. You almost had 2 cars through. What do you think was causing the spin up in the corner there?
I think he was too anxious to get a good start or get to the final. That's things that happen. But I mean, Matthias is in the final. We're happy about that, and we're very proud of everything that he achieved and the team has achieved so far. So let's try and win this race now.
Fantastic, thank you.
Brilliant win from Ekström. His spotter very, very happy. Here's the replays. Andrew, talk us through the start.
Just keep an eye on the white and green car there in third. We're on board here with, this is Duran, so on board with Duran. So on the outside, and we just need to watch him with the white and green car. Looks like the white and green car, Holton's trying to get in. A little tap at the back forces him to go to the Joker lap. Let's keep an eye on
Timosjanov's spin.
Car's moving around, the rear's coming around on the way in there.
Watch as we come round to the right. There's Timosjanov.
Look how much dirt's been swept on there. There looks a huge amount of dirt swept off the loose section, whether that has been wetter than before. And again there, exactly the same thing as Timosjanov.
Tiedemann didn't manage to catch they're trying to set it up on the left and then flick it back to the right, and they're not catching the left.
It's such a weird feeling because it's actually tarmac underneath with very loose gravel on the top, so it's like driving on ice really. It's so slippy, and it's obviously just caught them out a little bit there.
Look at the way Ekström's car landed.
Really impressive.
Oh, that was Holton with what, 1 lap to go, so a mistake from him.
I think that was actually the last corner of the last lap, wasn't it? I think he's going to kick himself. No, you're right, it was 1 to go, so kicking himself for that, I'm sure.
Brilliant drive by Ekström, so far in front. I mean, I thought he was a bit of an outside bet here, but I'm now thinking you might have to have him down as your favourite.
He's very impressive, and the car's obviously in very good shape at the minute, so it's going to be interesting to see how he goes with the final.
Here's how they line up for semi-final number 2. Petter Solberg on pole with Sebastian Eriksson alongside him. Topi Heikkinen and Timmy Hansen on row 2. And on row 3, Andreas Backerud and Tord Linnerud. Sebastian Eriksson, who you're looking at now, young driver who's come out of Folk Race, which is like budget rallycross. Team boss Andreas Eriksson had been keeping an eye on him. Thought he was promising, decided to invest some money and some time in it. It's paid off. He's on the front row on his first outing at World Rallycross. Petter Solberg on pole position. We've seen this go wrong for him before, but again, he's been flying this weekend when he's on it. I mean, he's set an incredible time in Heat 1. There's Backerud. Backerud, of course, who is currently second in the championship to Nitish. Hansen, who rolled in Finland and is relieved just to be here. You can still see the dents on the roof of Timmy Hansen's car. Super focused. They won't be blinking much now. The marshals are heading off the grid. There's the Backerud fan club. Ready to race, boards going up and going off. Away from the line again, a great start on the second row from Topi Heikkinen. Looks like he's going to get up alongside Petter. Petter's on the inside, but it's Eriksson who leads it. Eriksson with a clean start, Hansen on the inside.
Very opportunistic, but he couldn't quite get it done. That backer had gone to the Joker that very early, so that should stand him in good stead if these guys keep battling. But the start, Eriksson got a great reaction, hooked up really well. Solberg was a little bit slower off the line with him, and that dropped him back into the pack for turn 1.
Solberg doing exactly what he did last year, of course, when he was trying to chase Backer, and he was all over the back of Backer around here. And if you remember, as he came out of this corner velodrome, his transmission gave up. This year, the car is a lot harder. He hasn't managed to break it hardly any as much as he did last year, but he retired so many times that Solberg will be flying. He'll want to get on the front row too, Andrew. We'll see how important the start is.
Absolutely, but he's always been saying this year it's all about the championship, it's all about scoring points, not necessarily about winning every race, which I think last year he was trying to do. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one pans out. I think Backerud's the one to watch because he's taking his Joker lap on the first lap when all these guys were stuck in traffic battling really hard. So it's going to be interesting. He was very quick in the last of the heats earlier on today, but had a puncture. So let's see what we'll see on the next clear lap when he comes around to see what lap he's done compared to these guys.
Solberg again sideways out the right hander just prior to the hairpin. That puts him up the inside of Eriksson, but I don't think he's near enough. Sebastian Eriksson, young driver on his first season in supercars, competing in Swedish supercar and on a bit of a wild card drive here, and he's doing an absolutely brilliant job. Solberg's right behind him, but he's going to try and hold on. Solberg out on the outside.
It'll be interesting if Solberg takes the Joker because, as I say, I think Backerud's the danger man here. He's probably getting held up a little bit, so the best thing probably to do is take your Joker, get out the traffic, and then still hopefully try and come out in front of Backerud, who's got clear space.
Well, let's see if he does it, and he's not. I can't understand why you wouldn't go for that. Backerud is now on the back of this train of cars.
Saying that, Backerud's 2/10 off Solberg on that last lap. Solberg's the quickest car on track, but I think still he's getting held up a little bit.
Oh, look how much curve Solberg used, and Eriksson in front of him as well. They're on the dirt on the inside of the curve, and that's a massive curve down there. Through the long left-hander again, the rear tyres are smoking. We've seen that all weekend. down on the gravel section, 6th gear down the hill, bang it down a gear, pitch it in, up and over the curbs, and then up and over the biggest jump of the season. Here we go. Launch and then landing down, hairpin left, and it's important to get the power on nice and smooth. Hansen's off! Smoke from Hansen's car. Hansen's off. We can see the smoke in the middle of the circuit. That's down by the Joker lap. I think he's on the exit of the Joker lap. So what's happened to Timmy Hansen? Either way, he's gone. Timmy Hansen's out. So
I think Backerud might have enough, you know.
To take the win or to get in?
Very close. Yeah, I think he's going to do Solberg. He's got 3 seconds, and we've seen it's about 3 to 3.2 seconds to come out just in front of him. He's so close, but Solberg still took another 2 tenths out, so at the minute he's still opening up the gap. But I think he's getting held up, I really do.
So at the minute then, we've got Ericsson, Solberg and Heikkinen are in the top 3. Behind them is Backerud with a clear track in front of them. He just needs to get past one of them to make it through to the final.
I think he's definitely going to do that. Ericsson's got 3.4 seconds, so he's going to be so close. It's going to come down to how well Ericsson can hook up his Joker lap.
Ericsson leading from Solberg. Onto the 5th lap out of 6. Over the crest right hand of the cars go very light here. Massive save from Solberg yesterday. Solberg is again. Solberg Joker. Solberg goes to Joker. Heikkinen goes with him. Backerud now then is going to come through on the standard lap. Looking at the merge. Where's he going to come out? Big jump from Backerud. That's where he got the puncture last time. Just in front of Solberg. Just gets it done. Heikkinen's behind them. So Heikkinen at the minute looks like he's going to be the one who go out.
That was the advantage. That's what I was saying. Backerud was in clear air. He could do his own race. He wasn't being held up. He wouldn't have to worry about anyone else's car. What they were doing in front. He could get his head down, do his own race, and I think that's what's made the difference.
Why is Backerud fast today, Andrew? You sat with him yesterday and looked at the data. This is the same car you drove to a podium at Linden Hill. He wasn't on it yesterday. Today he's absolutely flying.
He's very analytical, and I saw him and he straight away said, come and have a look, see what you think. And I think yesterday he probably wasn't driving the car hard enough. These cars are very easy to overdrive, but there's certain circuits you need to be really aggressive, really sideways, like Solberg is normally. I think he's taken that on board from his teammates.
Sebastian Ericsson out the Joker lap. Ericsson comes out the Joker lap. He clipped the board on the inside. Backerud's behind him. Backerud's going to protect him. Their teammates, albeit not in the World Championship. It's a 1-2 for Rosberg's MSC at the minute.
It's going to be a great result. If you watch how hard Ericsson drives there, he flings it in. And I think Backerud's taken a leaf out of his book after having watched it yesterday and started to drive the car a little bit harder.
So Backerud down the hill, Ericsson in front of him. Just 2 corners to go. Can these youngsters hold on? From the expert that is Petter Solberg behind them, and one of them makes a tiny mistake. Heikkinen is right there to pick up the pieces. Backerud gives Ericsson a push from the back. Careful, lads, it's not done yet. Over the finish line, Ericsson takes the win. Oh, Heikkinen nearly came around the outside of Solberg. That was really close between them, and it's Ericsson, Backerud and Solberg who go through. Brilliant semi-finals. Relief there from Andreas Ericsson up in the spotters tower as well. Here's the results. Sebastian Ericsson, Andreas Backerud and Petter Solberg. Heikkinen, Hansen and Linnerud go out. Molly is up in the spotters tower, I think, with Andreas Ericsson.
Andreas, fantastic result from both drivers here.
Yeah, they did a great job and they were really pushing, and Sebastian has a good line to go, and we told him go as fast as you can and you will be hunted, and he was. So, but he showed a lot of, not respect, he showed a lot of confidence. He drove extremely, really mature, and he's not old. This is his first big event, and Andreas showed big respect also after. Andreas is running for the championship, but still he knows that this is a good result for the team, and I'm really happy. We were in bad positions with Backerud with 2 punctures, so he should be happy, and Sebastian should be really proud.
Thank you.
I should think Andreas Ericsson is really proud as well. Fantastic job by him. Here's a look at the replays. Andrew.
See, who are on board with Solberg, it's not the best of starts compared to everyone else. Into turn 1, Ericsson's a long way out in front. Hansen looking at the inside, but Backerud there, because he's committed, he knew he was going to take the Joker lap starting from there, I think, so he's carried so much speed on. Solberg, to me, I'm surprised they didn't tell him to Joker early, because, as I said, Backerud was the danger man. He was in clear space, he was going to be able to do his race, and he was very quick in the last heat. So from that, I would think he was going to be the strongest one. Ericsson just came out in front, but it proves, doesn't it, with Backerud and Nittish, they were starting on the back row of the grid. They were looking not very strong so far this weekend, and they've both just qualified second for the semi-final on the second row.
Absolutely brilliant drive, and by Ericsson too, who withstood pressure from everybody to take the heat race win. The semi-win. Heat race. Far too exciting. Can barely keep up with the action myself. You know who's in the final. It's going to be fantastic, so don't miss that. Well, wow, brilliant semi-final action. You You can see behind the starting grid, the RX lights are lining up.
Some of the teams have actually got the wet tyres there with trolleys. It's been lovely sunshine all weekend. There's some clouds coming over, and the guys obviously just want to be prepared just in case it did start to rain.
Getting a bit twitchy, do you think?
Absolutely, yeah. Last weekend in Finland, the rain came suddenly and was very hard, so they just want to be prepared. I don't think it's going to rain, but that would spice things up even more.
It certainly would.
I think with the Oldsburg cars going into the final, I think they're very careful of saving tyres for if they get there, so I think they should be in very good shape going through to the final.
There's another look at some of the onboards from the previous semi-finals. This was Solberg. Look at the contact in the background.
Just tries to get the inside of Heikkinen. Backward there, you see disappearing out of shot, carries so much speed onto the Joker lap. They'll have had that in their mind. They'll have agreed that if they get a reasonable start, the chances are it's going to go to the Joker lap.
One goes the other. Heikkinen ran wide there, looking. It looked like Hansen was gaining on him. We don't really know what happened to Hansen. I did see smoke in the middle. I thought it was fireworks. We've got lots of fireworks and celebrations and smoke here over the weekend. And I thought it was just smoke from that, but Hansen then disappeared off the track.
That was backward then. You could see how much speed he carried. You know, he was almost up alongside Ericsson. Look, no, we're on Solberg. Just keep looking to the right. We're going to see it. No, he just missed backward shoot off to the Joker lap.
That's that tricky jump. You can see the tree in the left-hand side right now is the one which they aim the cars at as they come over that crest. Andy Scott told us that yesterday. That was a massive, massive curb cut from both Ericsson and Solberg. Ericsson with quite a really aggressive style, kind of similar to Solberg, not quite a sideways, trailing the car into the left-hander there.
And that suits certain circuits and others it doesn't. So as I said about backward, he's been much neater and tidier this year. But then there's certain circuits, he said to me, look, I don't think I'm being aggressive enough like Sebastian is. Here's Hansen.
I think that was
maybe an engine or transmission.
Did you see? Yeah, left-hander and just suddenly, bang, it was like all drive was gone.
He might well have got an alarm on or something and pulled it off. You can see the smoke coming around. So that's a great shame. They've showed, again, great speed. Just a bit out of luck.
They've not made it. The Peugeot Hansens are not through to the final.
See, here on board with Solberg, he was still doing very quick times, but to me, he's getting a bit held up because he can't get into his rhythm. He's got to worry about where he's braking. And
there was a gap too. There was a gap behind, wasn't there? You know, would have slotted in. Hansen had gone, so there was space. He would have been somewhere around Backerud, and they would have been able to fly. But either way, he's through. But could he have got through a row ahead?
It just proves, you know, as I said, with Backerud and Nittish, you can't give up because, you know, Solberg was looking the one to beat really this weekend, and now they've turned it around going into the final.
Kevin Hansen is the pole man. Let's hope he can do the Hansen team a favour and put a smile on their faces. It's a bit of a shame for them. Of course, they had problems in the semi-finals at Kuvula as well. Hansen ended up in the bank at turn 2 and Timosyanov had a puncture. Here's a little look at the Super 1600s from earlier on today. We saw some brilliant action there as well. The man who came from the back of the grid was Nikita Misulia. That was the contact between Zagumenov and Smetana. And we did wonder, Andrew, if he might get a bit of a telling off for that.
Yeah, Zagumenov made a mistake and he got past him and then fired it back at the inside in quite an aggressive way, but there wasn't a black flag or anything like that, so I can only think he kept it and they saw it as a racing incident. This was a fantastic move, flat in 6th gear down here. Misulia just at the inside, got it stopped. Just incredible that he kept his nerve down, a real quick part of the circuit.
Great drive by him. Zagumenov, though, was out front, and as we say, the stewards didn't take any action, so it was him that took the checkered flag. Here's a look at the championship standings after round 5. Zagumenov now leading by 130, but Misulia is up into 2nd place, and I believe he was 3rd after Finland, so he's moving up the table with those charging drives. Linneman in 3rd, unfortunately retired really before the weekend had started. These are the touring cars, rear-wheel drive, 2 litre, and it was all about the red Mazda at the front, Andrew.
This was a fantastic race, wasn't it? Tanovic in the Mazda. He lost out. Salston in the black DS3 actually gets past him, and he's such a fight back through the pack. Some fantastic moves, really brave stuff to get the win, and the crowd went absolutely mad for it. Are we going to see his move tucked up right behind Salston in the DS3?
It was round the outside, wasn't it? Twice, well, once down the hill, I think, and then he managed to get the undercut around the hairpin at the end.
There we go, just there the undercut there, just timed it perfect. A slight rub in the back, you wouldn't have even felt that, and great drive off the corner.
And he went the other way, didn't he? Went round the outside, which was even scarier. So great job by Tanovic. He came up into the grandstand just before the semi-finals. But it's Lund who continues to lead the championship from Lona and Larsen. Look how many Norwegians there are. Just one Swede at the top of the table. cars are lining up on the grid for the final of the RX Lights. Kevin Hansen is on pole. He's done a brilliant job. I think he won 3 out of the 4 heats to get here. Here's how they line up the whole grid. Kevin Hansen with Kevin Eriksson alongside him. Richard Goranson and Linus Lees on the second row. Patrick Flodin and Michaela Arlen-Kotolinski on the back. Kevin Eriksson, of course, has had some great fights, hasn't he, with Kevin Hansen?
Yeah, they're very closely matched. He's son of Andreas Eriksson, who owns the Ford team we've just seen with backward driving. So, you know, big shoes to fill, but he's been very quick all year so far in these cars. But Hansen, for me, is the one to beat. He's really impressed me this weekend, or so far this year, and I think he's going to be the one to beat.
Stood not 8 feet from us is Kenneth Hansen, a legend of rallycross. We can see him through the window in the side of our commentary box. He's leaning out, stopwatch in hand, ready to call the joker for his son. The crowd are on their feet. This is normally fantastic racing away from the line. Goranson got a great start, hooked it up nicely on road 2, but there's nowhere to come through. Kevin Hansen gets into turn 1 first. Eriksson's up behind him, super sideways in the background. Oh, collected by Goranson and spun around. But let's see what the leaders are. Goranson goes straight to the joker lap. Hansen in the lead and Eriksson right up behind him. Flodin, I think, is in third.
That's a great start by Hansen's reactions. Have been spot on so far this weekend. I've been keeping an eye. He actually said to us before the semi-final, said watch my start. So he's obviously very confident that it's going to be good. They look like they've got the car hooked up really well. They're very evenly matched, but there's only a few things you can change for driver preference on these cars, and he looks like he's just really at one with the car.
Now, you said that they'd done something quite specific to the car, and he confirmed it, didn't he?
Well, to me, when he does his practice starts, the car looks a fair bit stiffer, and I think that he kind of confirmed that they do run it quite stiff. Obviously, you need it soft in certain areas for the dirt sections and the big landings, but it's always a compromise because there's more tarmac than there is dirt.
Now, these are 4-wheel drive. They weigh about 1,100 kilos, 310 horsepower. You've got about twice that horsepower in a supercar. You can't go sideways in these in quite the same way. We've seen if they want to be quick, they're really tidy.
You have to be really neat and tidy. You know, you just watch Hansen, a little bit of oversteer coming out, but you can't come out with the amount of oversteer or the amount of lock that you do in a supercar because you just haven't got the horsepower to pull it off. So in extreme, it's like driving a go-kart. You need to get the lock out of the car as much as possible to keep the momentum. They're much more momentum-based than a supercar is.
Kevin Hansen planning on spending, I think, 3 years in these cars before a possible move to supercar. That's what he's been told by his dad.
I think he's working on his dad to get him in there sooner. I don't think Kenneth's so keen at the minute.
When they've got a couple of supercars there, it's difficult, isn't it? He's only young. I think he's 16 years old. And of course, he couldn't race until Kuvula in Finland because he wasn't old enough. So he's old enough to race lights in Sweden, but not in Rallycross RX. This, of course, is a cup. It's not a full championship. It's the RX Lights Cup for this year, supporting various rounds of the World and European Rallycross Championship. Hansen and Eriksson absolutely tied together. One of them, Andrew, has got to take a joker before the other. I mean, surely Eriksson at some point's got to go on going.
Well, I think Eriksson, Goranson's the first car. He's in 4th place. He's the first one that's taken the joker. He got held up a little bit with all the action that went on the first corner and was then forced to the joker. So if I was Eriksson, I'd be going now because you've got enough space to get out in front of Goranson, which is the first car. I think he needs to be careful of that. He doesn't come out too close to Flodin in 3rd and get held up.
Will Eriksson go to his joker or not? Kevin Hansen still leading. I think Kevin's gapped him just by 3 or 4 car lengths. Eriksson, though, decides to take the standard lap again on that 4 out of 6. You're seeing on the right-hand side the supercar pre-grid, so that's Petter. Door open.
Kevin Eriksson actually took 3/10 out of Hansen on that lap then, so I am quite surprised he didn't go to the joker because he's obviously got some great car speed and that. Have they saved their tyres a little bit differently in a different strategy than Hansen? But it's going to be hard to overtake if he doesn't take the joker.
On the right hand side, Petter Solberg has some real problems. At the bottom of the screen you can see some of the social media messages coming through from you guys at home watching. But Petter, real problems. He's not going to miss another final, is he? Petter Solberg with some emergency re-prep on his car just prior to the final. You have to understand they've got 10 minutes to re-prep these things and get them back out for battle again in the supercar final. Bit of fuel, maybe a little fettle, maybe choose your best tyres. Eriksson goes to the joker lap, Hansen carries on the standard lap. Where's he going to come out?
He's going to come out in a second. Goranson's been held up by Flodin in there. He's got past him now. But they were exactly, Hansen and Eriksson did exactly the same lap time, just a couple of thousand apart in the last one. So I think this is going to, if Hansen keeps it nice and clean and tidy, no mistakes, I think he's got this one.
How hard is it when you've got to go into the joker lap? You've got to get it absolutely bang on. Petter having jet wash at the front. Okay, so possibly the intercooler full of dirt then.
Yeah, they run the radiator in the back, so it can only be the intercooler, I think.
So trying to clear out the front of the car for Petter, so they can get that done. They're up in the wash area. They'll have been to refuel, I think, already. Rear window missing from Petter's car as well. Possibly some damper clicks then, Andrew. Changing some settings maybe.
It could be. Sorry, going back to this, Ericsson's about 2.9 behind.
It's going to be
Hansen.
tight.
It's going to be
be
so
really
close.
tight. Who's going to get it? Hansen comes out. Ericsson's alongside him.
Big contact. Going to cut back underneath.
Oh, Hansen back alongside him. Ericsson's on the inside of him. Hansen's going to have the inside of the left-hander. Brilliant balance. Oh, no! Ericsson pushed Hansen off. Surely. Ericsson.
That was a bit naughty. He kept in him. There was contact coming off the Joker. That they gave each other room. Yeah, it was hard racing, but you've got to give it to Hansen at that. He's done the move. The contact had put Ericsson sideways, so Hansen got underneath. But to me, he just kept squeezing on the grass. That was very lucky it didn't roll over.
Very lucky. I'll be very interested to see whether or not he'll be under investigation. Ericsson there, a little bit naughty, but he comes round. He's going to take the checker flag. We'll see whether or not he stands later on. Ericsson over the line. Hansen behind him. Göransson in third. Ericsson celebrates, but maybe a little bit naughty on the last lap. We'll see from his reaction, I suppose, when they might get a quick interview with him. I don't know whether we'll see that because we're getting ready for the supercar final. The lights heading off the circuit. All the action saved really for the last lap there, but let's have a look, Andrew.
See if Hansen's got a good start. Göransson in the grey car on the inside just gets collecting over the black car. It forces him to the Joker lap, so that's where his time was lost. But it was really between Hansen and Ericsson, close all the way through. Little tenth here and there between the two of them. It's just a shame it ended that way at the end of the race. You see now, Hansen's coming out the Joker lap. There's contact as they rejoin, and we finish there, and Ericsson gets the win. I'm going to be interested to see if he keeps that. I'm sure the Hansens will be talking to the stewards about it, I would think.
I would imagine so too. Remains to be seen. You can see some of the grandstands in the background that the fans build here on top of caravans and buses. That's how the results stand as we know at the moment. Kevin Ericsson from Hansen, Göransson, Flodin, Arlen Kotlinski and Lace. Grid is getting ready for the final. The Monster Energy girls are ready. Molly managed to catch up with Petter Solberg a few moments ago on the pre-grid for the final.
Petter, you made it to the final and there's lots of work going on your car. What's up?
No, it's not so much work, but just, I was behind Ericsson for a while. I was waiting to take the Joker, but then I would have come in the backpack of all the others, so it would have been very, very difficult. But Ericsson was not fast enough, but I didn't want to be ugly either, so then it was very difficult to do anything, but okay, now I will be in the final and I will push more.
Great, thanks.
Well, that was Petter. Not long to go now. At least it's warm for the Monster Energy girls this week. It was absolutely chucking it down last week. Everybody was soaked. Everybody on the grid, the cars, the spectators, they hung on, to be fair, at Kuvula, but it's a different story here. Beautiful sunshine. The marshals, though, down on the grid. That's Liam Doran's car being re-prepped. Windows are being cleaned.
It's a real tight turnaround from the semi-final to the final. If you think normally they'd have over an hour to re-prep the car between heats, or between a heat and the semi-final, so this is real quick. They're getting the car just prepared for Liam to get in, because as a driver's point of view, you just want to get in, the belt's not being caught behind or anything, so they're just making sure you can get straight in, belt up, and the clouds are getting a lot darker over here, so I'm sure the drivers and teams are wanting to get this on
get this done,
get this going
it done,
rather than having to rush around changing tyres. But I think, from my point, I think Ekstrom's the one to beat here. I think which is very impressive. It's a real new car, very early stages. I think he's the one to beat, but as we saw in the semi-finals, you just can't count any of the guys out. Nittis and Bakkerud came from the back of the grid, which we didn't really expect.
Well, Molly is in the spotters tower at the moment. She's with Pernilla Solberg.
Pernilla, a lot of work going on there with Petter's car before the final now.
Yeah, we just had to clean it off a bit, so you cleaned off the intercooler a bit, and it's a tough one now, third line, so I think a tough start, but I mean, if you're in the final, anything is possible, so fingers crossed.
What's the plan now for the final?
I think, it's a really, really tough heat, so maybe the Joker directly, depending on the start, so we'll just have to see how. It's all depending on the start, really, how what you should do.
Thank you. Best of luck.
Thanks.
You can see Pernilla up there in the Ion spotters tower. Great view. We're sharing it at the far end and being able to see all the way out over the circuit. Molly's now got Liam's team up here in the spotters tower.
Liam just made it to the final. How does he feel about that?
Yeah, really close. Buzzing, I think, just to be in the final now for the first time. Now we can show what we can do. Clean race, I hope. I don't think it will be, but we'll see how it goes and just push. We have to win events now. Let's go.
What will you guys be happy with?
Just the champagne, I think. I don't think anything else, just the champagne. We make the win. It's good.
Thanks.
He's nervous, isn't he? You can tell he's nervous. They all are. They'll be desperate for a win. It's not like we haven't got some winners on the grid. Really wouldn't like to have to call this. Ericsson with some tape on the front of the car. A few small repairs to that. Bakkerud pulling up. Bakkerud the winner back in the UK. On board with him now. Here's the lineup for the Supercar final. Matthias Ekström on pole, Sebastian Eriksson alongside him. Reinis Nitish and Andreas Bakkerud line up on the second row. Petter Solberg and Liam Doran at the back. Solberg there, my money was on a Solberg-Ekström front row. And instead, you know, we've got Ekström at the front, Solberg at the back. To me, if those were the hardest two to pick the win between. Now, with Petter at the back and Ekström at the front, really, I'm thinking Ekström.
Yeah, but Sebastian Eriksson's going to give it all he can because this is an opportunity for him. This is his first event at this sort of level, so he's going to be going absolutely flat out to try and get a win. You've got Bakkerud and Nitish on the next row. They're battling out for the championship. They're teammates, so each one of those is going to want to put their stamp on this event. So it's going to be, if the semi-finals are anything to go by, it's going to be a hell of a race.
We've had 4 events so far with 4 different winners. 3 of them are on the grid. Solberg, Bakkerud and Nitish are there. Faust, of course, not here this weekend. Are we going to see a 5th winner in 5 rounds of the World Rallycross Championship? Or are we going to see our first double win of the year? Solberg admits he gets nervous. I'm kind of nervous, I have to say, coming up for this one. Bakkerud, the visor is down. He means business. His fingers are up on the dash. The crowd are going nuts. They're really cheering for it. Everybody is on their feet. There's that ready to race board. It's in the air. Anti-lag's on, the revs are rising. Away from the line, really great start from Ekström. Who's been left? Nitish has been left at the line. Ekström's been done by Eriksson on the way down to the first corner, so Ekström slots into second place. Around the outside now, Liam goes straight with the joker. Petter changes his mind. I think Petter's changed his mind. It's Eriksson from Ekström.
Great start. I didn't quite see. I was focusing on Nitish had been left on the start, massively bugged. And he saw Solberg look to go to the joker, but he was behind 2 cars, so he might as well try not to, because otherwise he was going to be 3rd at the best.
But then on the other end, he's lost time in there. But you think the win would have been impossible?
Yeah, I do. I think it's all going to close up. Ekström, I wouldn't be surprised if he takes the joker lap quite soon. Look how hard Eriksson puts it in. Eriksson puts it in there.
Super sideways from Eriksson. Ekström is right behind him. Well, who do you fancy here? We've got a DTM champion in Ekström. He was very, very fast here last year. He's fast again. Is he going to miss out on the win just in the final? Sebastian Eriksson gets the Monster Energy Supercharge Award for being first into the first turn. Ekström's going with him, but I think he's going to have to take a joker early if he wants to try and get past.
He needs to. Bakkerud, the first car's taking the joker, he's in 4th. That's what he did in the semi-final. Got into clean out. He's trying to do exactly the same now. Look how much curve Solberg is giving chase to Eriksson and Ekström.
Eriksson, Ekström, Solberg is the order. Behind them, Bakkerud, Doran and Nitish have already jokered. So that when they come together, it's going to come down to the merge to who slots in where. Eriksson is so sideways in that right-hander, maybe a bit too sideways, up and over the crest. Ekström behind him, but Ekström doesn't seem to gain any time on him, and Petter doesn't seem to be able to gain either. Behind them, Bakkerud is making a dent. I think he's gaining on them.
I think Ekström needs to take the joker soon, because Bakkerud's looking to see what that time he does there. They've got about a 3 point.
He's gone. Ekström's gone now. Ekström goes to the joker lap, manages to carry some speed in. He's going to get overtaken by Solberg. Ekström, though, I think is going to come out in front of Bakkerud. That's a clever move. Bakkerud 1 lap more, and I reckon Bakkerud could have done it.
If he'd been held up by Eriksson anymore, Bakkerud would have done it. So it was a great move by the Ekström guys to get him in there, get him into clean space. Now he just needs to focus ahead, focus his eyes forward, not worry about Bakkerud. And I think Ekström might have the pace to do it.
Clear track as well now, of course, so Ekström with clear track in front of him. Eriksson's broken his suspension. He's clipped the curb. You saw it break live there. The strut or something has gone at the front. The upright is gone. Eriksson hasn't broken the front end. There's no way he's going to be able to hold on.
Was that on the curb? That's the line he's been
been turning in so hard all over the curves all
He
weekend.
hit it laterally in the front left. I'm surprised the car's still going, but the front left corner is hanging off the car. Oh no, Solberg's gone with him. He tried to change his mind and couldn't. He was committed.
He did exactly what he did on lap 1. Tried to change mine. Ekstrom comes through.
He's coming in front. Backward as well.
Backward got a problem on his left front.
Backward, oh my goodness, Backward's just coming in front of Ericsson. Solberg's behind him. It's Ekstrom who leads. Ericsson's got past Backward.
Ericsson's still going. His tyre's just given out or something on his left front. Backward's got a left front problem as well. That's the same thing that's happened to him, but Ericsson's still going flat out with the left front wheel hanging off it.
Fantastic. So both the Osberg's MSC
These two guys are going flat out and flat in 6th, and Solberg's trying to get through. These two have got a problem. Look, yeah, puncture, left front and backward.
That's it, Backward's gone. Solberg's got past Backward, so Solberg now is on the hunt for the front two. Look at the front wheel. The front wheel's hanging off Backward's car as well in the background, so double suspension damage for Osberg's. It looks like everything's moving around. Ericsson here, I can't believe this car's still going, but I don't think he's going to be able to hold on against Solberg, but out in front is Ekstrom.
He's going to give it a go. Ericsson's still got steering, and whether it's a top link, something you can see the wheel, the camber on the car's flopping around all the place, but he's still obviously got steering, so he's somehow been able to maintain pretty good pace.
This is amazing. There's tape hanging off the top of Peter Solberg's car.
Ekstrom's just done the quickest lap of the weekend, so he's got out front, got in clear space, as we said, he would, got his head down, he's gone.
Ekstrom's going to get this done, I think. He's a long, long way out in front. It's going to be a brilliant drive if he does. Look at Ericsson. Ericsson's front wheel moving around. You can see that he's just not attached to the car. How has he managed to hold off?
Fair play to him. I think that's going to give. I think it's going to give up because he's going at such high speed. Turned around by Solberg.
Petter pushes him around. Bit of a shame, but there we go. So now Petter's pushed him round. But yeah, he gets away again. He manages to get away again. Still, these two are fighting it out. Petter Solberg is still behind Ericsson. Ericsson half spin. Is that Nitish or Backward going through behind him? So Backward coming through behind him, so up and over the crest, Solberg.
I think that was a bit inevitable with Sebastian. He was going at such a speed, he just wanted to try and get right front puncher for Solberg now.
Solberg's got a puncture too!
So the two of these guys have both got punches on the front car, on the front of the car, and if anything, it's going to hurt Solberg more with it on the right front. Backward is on his left front.
Ekstrom, meanwhile, Backward on the inside of Solberg, but Ekstrom's marching his way towards the finish. Ekstrom over the jump, he's only got 2 corners to go. He's going to get a win at home. It's around the left-hander. The fireworks go off at the finish. Ekstrom's around the left-hander, he takes the win. Solberg gets past Backward at the jump. It's a home win for Ekstrom in Sweden. Both the cars are off on the
inside of Solberg, and Backward's going to get second. Ericsson's coming up the inside.
It's Nitish, but not Solberg over the line. Super tight.
Sorry, Nitish.
Wow, what a final. Matthias Ekstrom takes a win at home in Sweden. The first win for the EKSRX team in the Audi S1. A brilliant drive by the DTM champion, and surely he's going to be a rallycross champion in the future. The crowd have gone nuts. There's 35,000 Swedish fans here, and they are over the moon. Ekstrom's out of the car. There it is, Ekstrom with the win, Backward in second with a puncture, Solberg in third with a puncture, Nitish didn't see him all race, Doran and Ericsson.
Absolutely incredible win.
Yeah, it's amazing. What a team, what a guy he is, Matthias. And I mean, all those nights, all those hours we spent in the garage, it's just great feeling now. It's worth it, and it feels amazing.
How are you going to celebrate this home win?
I don't know. It's going to be a good night, that's for sure.
Thank you, congratulations.
Thank you.
Nobody has managed to win at home in the last 2 seasons. The whole of the European Rallycross Championship last year, all the different winners we had, nobody won at home. We've had 5 different winners in 5 events, and Matthias Ekstrom is the first person to win on home territory, and it's only their 3rd event. Absolutely incredible from the EKSRX team. Sebastian Ericsson been brilliant all weekend. Petter Solberg wasn't sure when to go to the Joker. That really got caught out. The story of this really was all about the punctures. Ekstrom jokered at just the right moment, Andrew, to come out in front and not have to deal with this carnage behind.
If he'd left it a lap later, he might have been stuck in all this carnage, so he did exactly the right thing, and that's down to the team to call him to do it then. Really, really impressed with those guys.
Olsberg's MSC with just various different corners hanging off various different cars. Nitish, look at Nitish. Let's just a quick word for the championship leader. Stayed out of trouble. We didn't see him all through it. We didn't think he might make it through. Here's Ekstrom. Oh, lovely. Big flick over the finish line. Spins the car around. Super excited to have taken a debut win in the Audi. My goodness me, Audi will be pleased with that, won't they? You can see the fans are flocking back. They're bringing a sofa with them. There's a sofa on the way to the podium. That's something new for motorsport, certainly. They're going to absolutely fantastic final. Matthias Ekstrom is the 5th different winner in 5 events. Ekstrom heading back to the holding area. The marshals give him a Mexican wave on the way, and it should be a Swedish wave, shouldn't it? It's got to be a Swedish wave, surely.
That's going to mean a lot to him, you know, that's his team. He's set up a new team, they've designed and built their own car, and to come and do that in the third event, taking on a lot of the guys that have been building cars for so many years, is really impressive. And I think that's going to mean a huge amount, the fact that that's his own thing, that's his own team, it's his own car.
He wasn't even in Finland. You know, he couldn't make it to Finland. He had to stand in because he was away. Let's not forget, this guy's focusing on the DTM and has just won a round of the World Rallycross Championship in a brand new car in their third event. I mean, I'm blown away. Just brilliant, brilliant drive. Crowd are running back. There's Ekstrom out of the car. He's so pleased the Audi flags are there. A hug for some of the crew. Maximum attack. Their hashtag on Twitter, isn't it? Go hard or go home, I think.
He went hard then, didn't he?
He certainly did. It's on the back of his helmet as well. What a drive by Ekstrom. He's as cool as a cucumber now he's out of the car, isn't he?
He's a really laid back guy, isn't he? You know, he's done a huge amount and he's over the moon, isn't he? To do it at home as well, you say the first winner at home is really impressive. And at this event, what an event it is, the amount of people here, huge party atmosphere, and to win there at home, he's going to be over the moon with it.
It keeps surprising me. The semi-finals and the finals keep surprising me. We have some heat races, which are okay, you know, if everyone's playing it safe and gets towards the end of the heats, it's always exciting. And then just somehow the semis always seem to go to level 11, don't they? And today I think the final went to 12.
To me, that's what Rallycross is about.
Yeah.
How action-packed was that racing? We couldn't even keep our breath. A lot of the time we didn't know what was going on. There was carnage everywhere.
Yeah.
But good, hard racing. And, you know, Bakkerud and Solberg battling out with punchers. It was just action all through the field.
I'm going to have a word with Andreas Eriksson about making those cars a different colour. We had 3 cars in the final that were almost identical liveries, chopping back and forth between them. The crowd are crossing over the track now. We've got everybody coming from hospitality down through the flags there in the centre, representing some of the nations who take part in this fantastic competition. Solberg there to congratulate Ekstrom. Gloves off for Solberg. Got a third. Bakkerud was second. But it was Matthias Ekstrom who took the win. There's a fair bit of clearing up to do here at Holjes. It is a bit of a party event. Doran's car is coming back in on a low loader. From where we can see in the commentary position, we can see his car being brought back to the paddock. So I don't even know what happened to Liam. Do you remember?
No. If I'm honest, no, we didn't see that.
We're not sure what happened to Liam, but he did well to make it through to the final, of course, by getting there. He gets the points from the semi, and he gets 2 points as well. He's classified ahead of Sebastian Eriksson. So crowd wandering up through the grid, heading up towards the podium. Here's how the championship stands after round 5. Reinis Nitish continues to lead from Petter Solberg, Andreas Bakkerud, Topi Häkkinen, Timo Timosjanov, Anton Markland, Timmy Hansen and Tanner Faust. "35,000 people have disappeared. They were stood all around the circuit. From where we are, we had a sea of people, and you could see where they were. Someone's going to have a bit of clearing up, but it's worth it for a brilliant event. It's worth it for a brilliant event. Wonderful, wonderful action from Holjes. Everybody looks forward to it. It's called the Magic Weekend. You'll see people walking around with the Magic Weekend shirts on. We're going to have another look at some of the replays from the final. No, we're not. Molly instead has managed to find Matthias Ekstrom. So let's go and have a chat with Molly and Matthias Ekstrom.
Matthias, your first win for the team, and you're winning on home soil. How does it feel?
It's about as good as it gets. The effort we have done over the winter is pretty big, and to start up a new team, have a new car without S1 Quattro, and then have a bunch of guys fighting together and achieving a dream was to win one race this year, and I couldn't dream of it coming so early. And I mean, here in front of this crowd, so many friends, fans, everybody, I can only say I'm really, really happy.
How was the final? Do you feel that you jokered at exactly the right time?
I have a bunch of guys standing there taking care of the strategy. It's Florian, my race engineer from DTM, Emil and Janne. and the guys, they know what they're doing, and yeah, it's pretty nice feeling.
Yeah, thank you very much. Congratulations.
Matthias Ekström is in tears of joy for winning. Brilliant job. Here's the team's championship. After round 5, it's a clear lead for Ford Olsberg's MSC, VW Markland in second, Peugeot Hansen in third. Ekström's really emotional, Andrew Jordan, and I'll just, you know, I'll chuff for him. It's lovely to see that emotion, because you know the effort these people put in, yourself, of course, you know.
Absolutely, this is, you know, these sort of guys, this is absolutely their life, this is all they put into it. But, you know, the amount of stuff that Matthias Ekström has won, and he's still that emotional about it. Look at him, he absolutely is overjoyed with it, and that's something really nice to see. A man that level that's done so much, still getting that emotional over winning is really cool.
Yeah, it's cool, I agree.
And I think, as he said, you know, he's got his own guys, they've all worked together, they've put in so many hours over the last few weeks to get these cars ready. So to get a win at this level, at this point in the season, obviously means so much to him, and I like seeing that. I like seeing that he means so much to someone,
I love seeing
especially
the
that he's done
emotion.
so much.
The emotion of sport is very, very special. It doesn't matter what sport you're into. If you watch any sport and you see the emotion of someone who's tried their level best to get where Ekström is stood, it's a very special.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the third position in this race today from Norway,
Petter Solberg being presented with his trophy. It's funny as well, Andrew, when you see the guys who are second and third, they're disappointed, but it kind of, because they've been beaten by someone who's new to the championship with a new car, and they can see how much it means to him, it seems it doesn't bother them quite as much. They're almost pleased for him.
Yeah, they won't want it happening again, though.
No.
But, you know, Solberg and Bakker, both who punched to come through and get on the podium, they'll be very happy with that. For the championship, it's good points in a race that could have, you know, if he got a punch on the first lap, it would have been game over. But we've got to, you know, shout out to Sebastian Eriksson, was leading the race.
Yes.
Unfortunate to have a break on the car like that, but the fact he kept going and he kept these guys behind him for a couple of laps is very, very impressive by him.
Biggest trophy to the winner. Eriksson, of course, will at least pick up the trophy, the Monster Energy Supercharger Award, for making it down to the first turn first. Champagne time for Ekström. Be a great moment for him. The girls are going to run for it. He knows he's going to have a little drink of it first of all, but that's it. The rest is going for the photographers and the crowd. Ekström's good at that. He's used to winning. It's new for us to see him winning in Rallycross, but absolutely brilliant. Solberg gives him a hug. I want to give him a hug. I'm so chuffed for him. Andrew Jordan, thanks for being here with us again this weekend. It's been fun, hasn't it?
It's been a fantastic weekend. It's like, I said it last year, like nothing else I've experienced in a motorsport event, the Holjes event, but some fantastic racing, and for me, the best racing of the season so far.
Ekström, covered in champagne, making his way back to the podium for a few more photos. There's your top three. Matthias Ekström, Andreas Bakkerud and Petter Solberg. I'm Andrew Coley. My thanks to Andrew Jordan alongside me. Here's a look at some of the action over the weekend. Just a tiny little bit of it. You must have a look online. There's the Hansens up top, Susan Hansen and Kevin Hansen as well, of course. Great drive today in the lights. Unfortunately, didn't quite get the win. This was Göransson in the lights as well. That's the curve that Sebastian Eriksson broke his car, and we said he was sideways, maybe too sideways, and unfortunately it cost him in the final. There's Pernilla, thumbs up, calling out our checker flag man in his checker flag suit. He's been down there in the sunshine all weekend, waving enthusiastically. Super 1600 Zaki Menov, he came together with Smetana. Great drive by Miss Julia as well. Miss Julia coming all the way around the outside of Navikas. This was a very brave move, and we saw the same from Tom Daniel Tanovic. Touring cars making some incredible passes. These were the semi-finals. Timosyanov led by Ekström. Tiedman was there as well. Tiedman had a spin. Timosyanov had a spin. Doran went off as well. Doran somehow managed to get back. It was really, really topsy-turvy in terms of semi-final action. Big jump from Ekström, and I have to say he's been looking brilliant all weekend. I think the drivers were there. Was Holton losing his place in the semi-final with just a lap to go. Look how far in front Ekström was. This was the second semi-final. Sebastian Eriksson ahead of Petter Solberg. Timmy Hansen in the Peugeot Hansen didn't quite make it through. Problem, he pulled off on the Joker lap. There was Solberg behind him. This was Hansen pulling off. Game over for him. There'll be another chance for them to make it through. It was semi number 2 done, and it was just the final to come. We didn't have any idea how much action we were going to get. There was Ericsson. I don't think we're going to see him break his wheel. He did it on the curb in the fast right-hander. Absolutely brilliant. Wonderful action. The win went to Matthias Ekstrom. We will be back with you next weekend in Belgium. Please do join us. It's going to be fantastic.